Hello, my name is HQ of HQ Reacts. Welcome to my channel. Please do me a favor. Hit the like button, share the stream, and click the notification button for new content.
Hey, this is HQ. We are back at it. Today is D-Day. Today is D-Day for Aftyn Behn. Aftyn Behn in the 7th District, Tennessee. We are here waiting to see if the Aftyn Behn has pulled off the upset of the year in the district, Tennessee 7. We are waiting. The polls should be closing any minute now. So we shall see if the Republican heads are going to explode this evening. Even if she loses, y'all don't get it. Even if she loses within 5 points, it's still over for the Republicans because nobody wants this radical agenda. We keep saying nobody wants this radical agenda, but we keep running into people, MAGAs, commentators, pundits, these podcast people saying, oh no, they love Donald Trump. No, they don't, because they sick of Donald Trump too. They sick of him too. They sick of this administration. They sick of the lies. They sick of the shit that they tell them. People said, this is what I voted for. No, you didn't. The polls, his numbers have collapsed. This president's numbers have collapsed. The Republican Party's numbers have collapsed. Our numbers as the Democrats, our numbers have always been shit. So for our numbers to be where they are, we don't care. But let's listen to our boy. Let's get started, y'all. What we doing?
Composing in real time more than the people orbiting him. The Stephen Millers of the world can smell the cognitive rot a mile away, and the professional propagandists around Trump know damn well they can't show too much of him on screen. If they did, their own audience would finally notice that the man has slipped the rails. And sure enough, that's exactly what happened on Fox today, when the hosts had to abruptly yank him off the air because he was unraveling so visibly it couldn't be spun. We're going to get into all of it. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, cut from Trump mid-meltdown, we need to start with the thing that's sending him over the edge, the brutal, historically bad polling that's about to blow up his world in tomorrow's election bombshell.
Look at this in January. Donald Trump's not approving. Not too bad, not too great. It was at -1 point, right within the margin of error, breaking even. But look at this now. -24 points, way down. We're talking about a drop of over 20 points in the wrong direction for the President of the United States. -24 points, that's a 23-point move in the incorrect direction if you're the president. And of course, what's so important here, Sarah Seidner, is it matches the trend that we've seen with other polls. That is Donald Trump hitting his low for the second term. I was doing the count last night. I think we're up to 10 polls in sort of the last 40 days, 10 different pollsters who have said that Trump is at the lowest point he is in his second term.
So how does this compare to other presidents in their second term at this point in time?
Yeah, okay. So, this is one of these great examples where I kind of run out of room on the slide.
I run
out of room on the slide. So I just put up the Republican presidents. But look, the only one who's worse for me, either among Republicans or Democrats at this point in second term, is Richard Nixon. And of course, Richard Nixon had to wave adios amigos goodbye less than a year after this poll was taken. He was at -36 points. Trump at -24 points. That beats, or is worse, I should say, beats in the wrong direction. George W. Bush minus 19 points. His Republican Party, of course, suffered major losses in the 2006 midterm elections. Dwight Eisenhower plus 31 points. Donald Trump has never smelt that at all. I had to go into the archives to pick up that photo. And Ronald Reagan at plus 41 points. But again, it also is worse than Harry S. Truman. It's worse than Lyndon Baines Johnson. It's worse than Barack Obama. It's worse than Bill Clinton. Anywhere you look, this is the second worst for a president of either party at this point in their second term, dating all the way back since the 1940s.
Wow. All right. Look, what does this mean for the midterms? Because are you seeing a trend that it's linked to how people feel about the president?
Yeah, okay. So, we always say, hey, look, we still got 11 months until the midterm elections. Right. That's forever in politics. So I decided to go back and look at this point in the second term. What happened? What was the trend line heading into the midterm elections? Were there any presidents who saw their net approval ratings rise by more than 5 points? Well, guess what, Sarah Sider? You go all the way back since Harry S. Truman, 0 out of 8 times.
This bad polling would be one thing if we were a year out from the midterms and Donald Trump had even a single serious accomplishment to point to some historic piece of legislation that actually improved people's lives, instead of a MAGA Congress chewing its own limbs off. But he doesn't. What he does have is a Republican majority openly turning on itself, a majority hanging by a thread because these garbage polling numbers are pushing more GOP members toward the exits. And tomorrow, that pressure hits a breaking point. There's a special election in Tennessee's 7th district, and Democrat Aftyn Behn is making real noise in a Trump plus 22 seat. Not only would flipping it add another Democrat to the House, it could directly trigger the collapse of the GOP majority itself, because there are enough Republicans ready to resign that one more loss could knock Mike Johnson out of the speaker's chair entirely, which is exactly why Donald Trump was having a full-blown meltdown in this post right before we get to why Fox had to kick him off the air. Trump wrote on Truth Social and is now pinned to his account, I am asking all America First patriots in Tennessee's 7th congressional district who haven't voted yet to please get out and vote on Election Day, Tuesday, December 2nd, for a phenomenal candidate, Matt Van Epps. Matt is fighting against a woman who hates Christianity, will take away your guns, wants open borders, transgender for everyone, men and women's sports, and openly disdains country music. She said all of these things precisely and without a question. It's on tape. Do not take this race for granted. So Donald Trump is freaking out right now over a race in a congressional district he won by 22 points just a year ago. 1 year ago, Trump carried Tennessee's 7th by 22, and now he's out here calling it the most important race in history. That alone tells you how far he's fallen, but it's not just the unhinged Truth Social posts telegraphing his panic. He's literally inserting himself into the Matt Van Epps campaign by phoning into a teletown hall Mike Johnson hosted in the district today. They had Trump on speakerphone, piped into a mic like some deranged uncle at Thanksgiving. Fox News even took it live, and it went off the rails so fast, so embarrassingly, that they had to kick him off the air.
But she said 2 things above all else that bothered me. Number 1, she hates Christianity. Number 2, she hates country music. How the hell can you elect a person like that? So I just want to give my total support, and he's had it. Right from the beginning, and they're watching your district, the whole world. It's a big vote. It's going to show something, and it's got to show that the Republican Party is stronger than it's
All right, President Trump live at the rally with Speaker Mike Johnson as this.
While Donald Trump desperately wants to win this seat to spare himself the humiliation of watching it flip blue, if Aftyn Behn actually pulls off that incredible feat, the fact that it's even competitive is already a flashing neon sign that his presidency is in full public collapse. Trump wants the win, sure, but Fox clearly wants it more, because cutting him off mid-ramble with a "we've had enough of that" was basically an admission that the more voters in this district hear Trump's voice, the less likely they are to vote Republican. They know exactly what happens when he starts ranting about guns and Christianity and calling a Democrat the devil in capri pants. People remember that Trump made a mountain of promises a year ago, delivered on none of them, and managed to drive every single one in the opposite direction. Maybe, just maybe, the guy in cognitive decline who's dropping bombs on innocent fishermen in international waters shouldn't be the one dictating who should represent Tennessee in Congress. Maybe the guy hiding his MRI results shouldn't be the voice guiding anyone's vote. So Fox cuts the feed. Stop. Stop. Just please stop. And there's Mike Johnson trying to laugh it off, while you can see the panic a mile away because he knows exactly what's happening. Oh my God. I'm going to lose my majority. That's the crisis Trump is staring down right now. He wants to keep being Trump, screaming into the void, attacking whoever crosses his line of sight. And Johnson, visibly rattled, is focused on one thing only: saving his own speakership, which Trump manages to endanger every single day. He's the one pushing Republicans toward resignation with fairy tale promises about some healthcare package that doesn't exist. He's the one driving Don Bacon to the brink after revelations that Trump's own little sidekick, Steve Wickoff, was funneling coaching notes to the Russians on how to manipulate Trump in negotiations. Every single day, Donald Trump drags Mike Johnson one step closer to losing the gavel before the midterms even arrive. But the fastest way to make that happen is, if you're in Tennessee, tell your friends, get out and vote, and make tomorrow the historic day it has the potential to be. And if you need someone besides me to tell you that, just listen to Aftyn, an incredible candidate right here.
Joining us now, Tennessee State Representative Aftyn Behn. She is running for the U.S. House of Representatives in Tennessee's 7th Congressional District. Representative Behn, thank you for being here. It's been 40 years since the 7th Congressional District elected a Democrat. What are you seeing and hearing that tells you this moment might be different?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, Jonathan. The only reason that this race is even on the map is because people in Tennessee are feeling the pain of what's happening in Washington. Republicans and their billionaire friends are spending millions trying to save a seat that they should be winning by 20 points. And if we do flip this seat, it will send a national message that we need to get serious about lowering healthcare costs.
Republicans redrew this district so Democrats couldn't win. Are you surprised at the money coming in to try to hold this seat?
Yes, I mean, this was supposed to be a shoo-in for them, but it's a testament to the decade of grassroots organizing and infrastructure that we've been building, and the fact that the federal administration has not delivered an economic agenda that has delivered to lower costs for working Tennesseans.
The latest poll on next year's congressional election shows Democrats surging to a 14-point advantage. In a Marist poll, your district has a lot of traditionally Republican voters. What's been your message to them in this campaign?
Make living affordable again. The cost of living is astronomical. Folks are dealing with high utility rates. We have the highest cost of groceries in the country. Folks are nervous about their subsidies not being renewed on the Affordable Care Act. And so the cost of living is at the forefront of every Tennessee voter's mind in this race. And I'm the candidate that is delivering the message that is moving the needle.
In this one district, and you just hinted at both of these issues, you have urban areas of Nashville with soaring housing costs, as well as rural voters struggling with issues like healthcare access. Is there one underlying issue connecting with all the voters you're talking to?
I feel like a broken record, but addressing the cost of living, lowering costs, increasing wages, and improving everyone's quality way of life has been the message from day one. And I think it's penetrating. We have seen Republicans come to our side, independents. I received an email from a Clarksville Republican that's in the district saying, I'm a lifelong Republican. I've never voted for a Democrat in my life. But if you promise to ensure the subsidies for the Affordable Care Act and ensure that my health care is affordable, I will vote for a Democrat for the first time. And that sentiment is being shared across the district.
Welcome back. If it's Tuesday, voters are voting somewhere, and today that somewhere is Tennessee's 7th at the big board. Mel, you're on the ground there in Tennessee. You spoke to the Democratic candidate in this race who's forced Republicans to step in and help defend this seat. What did she tell you?
Well, she knows this would be an upset and a long shot for her to win here in the heart of Trump country. But she believes the fact that it's even close and competitive shows how dissatisfied voters are with the cost of living and how dissatisfied they are with the current Trump administration. She has been running a campaign focused relentlessly on the cost of living as well as healthcare. And she thinks that even if she loses but is able to keep the race close, that should be a massive warning sign for Republicans ahead of the midterms, given this is a district that Trump carried by 22 points. Just watch what she told me.
out within single digits. It is, once again, a testament to the fact that this administration hasn't delivered.
Do you think the electorate is ready to embrace someone who is not only Democratic, but perhaps more progressive than they've been used to in the past?
Yeah, I think so. I think voters in this district have given me a lot of grace, and I've definitely matured. I was, an organizer, activist, a public-private citizen before I was a lawmaker. And as a state legislator, I represent 60,000 voters. As a next congresswoman for this district, I'll represent 700,000, of which, there's a lot of different varying political opinions.
Now, Republicans have tried to say that she is far too extreme for this district, and they have highlighted her past calls to defund the police. So I asked her whether she still maintains that position, but she largely dodged, saying it depends on what the community wants.
Interesting. So what is driving this momentum for the Democrats, Mel? Is it a continuation of the affordability message that we saw dominate last month's elections?
Ryan, one thing I've heard consistently from voters today is that they are concerned about the cost of living and that it is simply harder to pay their bills, to buy their groceries, and to put food on the table. That was a similar dynamic we did see in both Virginia and New Jersey.
How are Democrats' chances looking in Tennessee? I mean, this would still be a massive upset, wouldn't it?
It would be a massive upset if they do win. But yes, there has been some polling here showing a close race. And again, the backdrop you heard there, Donald Trump, last year, he won this district by 22 points. Now, 4 years earlier in 2020, when Trump lost the presidential election to Joe Biden, he still won this district, but it was only 15 points then. So, already that you hear that 22, but it's been closer than that before. And there have been some local contests in this area, a couple of them where Democrats have done even a little bit better than that. So where's the action going to be tonight as the results start to come in? I think one way to look at this is where we're talking about Middle Tennessee right here. About a quarter of the city of Nashville, that's Davidson County, is in this district. This is going to be one of the only, maybe the only blue spots you see on the map tonight, but it's going to be very blue. The question here is going to be, can Behn run up the score massively in the Democratic part of this district in Nashville and in Davidson County? A lot of rural areas here, ex-urban areas where it's going to be very, very Republican red tonight. And I think sort of the swing area of this district that I'm going to be looking at is right here. This is Montgomery County. This is where Clarksville is. This is the other major population center in the district. And I think, look, if Behn is going to have any chance of actually pulling off the upset and winning tonight, she probably needs to be winning in this county. There probably need to be two blue counties by the end of the night. That would be Davidson County, and then that would be Montgomery County if she's actually going to win this. So we'll see as the story unfolds tonight. But again, the backdrop for this, why this is even close, one thing we have been seeing in special elections this year, special congressional elections, Democrats have been overperforming relative to last year's presidential election. Take a look at this. In April, there was a pair of special congressional elections in Florida. Now, Republicans won both of them. They won both of them solidly, 15-point margin in one of them, 14 in the other. But this is what it had been in the 2024 presidential election. So from a 37-point Republican win in Florida's first district in 2024 down to 15 in the special election. That was a gain for the Democrats of 22 points. They didn't win it, but they made up a lot of ground. Look, from 30 to 14, Democrats made up 16 points in Florida's 6th district. We've seen this even where Democrats have won this year. They've won bigger than they did in 2024. Look at this district in Arizona. Kamala Harris had won it by 22. Democrats won it by 40 this year. They gained 18 points from a 34-point Democratic win in this Virginia district to 50 this year. That's a 16-point Democratic gain. So 22, 16, 18, 16. You see a pattern here. And again, this district where it was.
I think you got the wrong message, Carol Harris. Not another state tired of Democrats. Another state tired of Republicans. That's a Republican. That's a deep red Republican Tennessee state. So if this woman comes anywhere close, that basically means they're tired of you Republicans. Stop it. Y'all better pay close attention, because if she gets close, it's a wave y'all ain't even ready for.
22 points for Donald Trump. If Democrats are getting anywhere around that kind of gain that they've gotten elsewhere this year, then this does become a competitive scene. Now, again, to erase all of 22 points, that might be a bit more of a stretch here, but it does speak to a political climate that we've seen in these special elections that we saw in the New Jersey and Virginia results where Democrats, won unexpected landslides. And it does call to mind, this is a back to Trump's first term here. We're going back to 2018 here, March 2018. There was a special election in Trump's first term, okay, where Donald Trump had a 41% approval rating. He had won the district by 20 points. And remember this name, Connor Lamb. Connor Lamb won the special election in that district that had voted for Trump by 20 points in March of 2018. That was a harbinger. That proved to be a harbinger for the blue wave that fall when Democrats gained 40 seats, flipped control of the House. Here we are now, December 2025. Remember, Trump's approval rating was 41 then. It's not too far off that now. It's 42.5, and it has been edging down this fall. We're in a district that's only a little bit more Republican than that Pennsylvania one is. So, again, that is the backdrop. Democrats would love, obviously, to actually win this tonight and to be able to do what Connor Lamb did in 2018. If not, they want to keep it close. They want to say it's another sign of Republican weakness. Republicans, they don't just want to win. They want to win by double digits tonight. They want to put up a solid win and say, hey, for all that talk about the close race, for that poll you saw showing a close race, they want to be able to say, hey, that attack on Behn as too far left, it actually worked, and it could work next year.
Okay, Steve Kornacki, thank you. And if
that is not what we hoping. Obviously, we hoping for a better showing than that. But I think we're gonna pull it out to a better showing. I think so.
Polls now open for Tennessee's 7th congressional district, the election that is such a special election. You've got political heavyweights coming in town from all across the country. It is typically a very deep red congressional district that is up for grabs. President Trump, for example, carried it by 22 points last year. But Democratic leaders have a real chance here. They are rallying around Aftyn Behn, who has turned her messaging to affordability and the skyrocketing cost of living. The race is close, so close that House Speaker Mike Johnson has been on the ground campaigning with the Republican candidate, Matt Epps, and the president chimed in by phone. CNN Washington Bureau Chief David.
The shebang is that they're coming to the state to campaign for her. Why would they need to come to the state to campaign for this guy? This guy. Why would they need to come to the state to campaign for this guy against Aftyn Behn? Because they know she's winning or she's going to get close. And it's going to be terrible for them. So let's see.
Shalian is breaking down what you should be watching in Tennessee today.
Let's see.
Sarah, as you noted, just over a year ago, Donald Trump won this district in Tennessee by 22 points. So why are we even talking about this? How could this be competitive? Well, the reason both parties are spending millions of dollars on this race is because today's political climate and in an off-year special election can produce a very different electorate. And this is what we've seen throughout 2025, not just in the November elections in New Jersey and Virginia and New York City, but in special House elections like this one that took place in deep red territory. Democrats are significantly overperforming how Kamala Harris performed in these districts just a year ago. And that's in large part due to opposition to Donald Trump. So Democrats are hoping to ride that wave of enthusiasm and energy in these off-year, off-cycle elections in order to produce upsets. Now, if the Democrat Aftyn Behn were to win here, it would be a political earthquake. So this is still a very tough climb for Democrats. But even if it is within single digits, that is going to be a warning shot to Republicans as we prepare to turn the calendar to 2026 and the midterm elections, and they try to hang on to their House majority. I will also note one thing else, that if indeed the Democrat were to shock the world with a victory, that would take a potential vote away from Mike Johnson in his very narrow majority in the House. He's got 219 Republicans right now. He can only afford to lose 2 Republicans on any party line vote. He'd like one more for a little cushion, and that's what a Republican victory would deliver to the speaker today.
David Chalian, you're the best. Thank you so much.
And this is what we're hoping for. We hoping to hit your head upside. We hoping to hit you upside the head with this Democrat. She's holding her own. She is holding her own. So we're gonna see tonight The results of the polls, I think, just
Now,
closed.
political contributor Jake Sherman, Puck Chief Washington correspondent Leanne Caldwell, and senior editor and elections analyst for the Cook Political Report, Dave Wasserman. So, Dave, how does this race look?
White man from town, goofy. That's what y'all don't get. Y'all keep worrying about us losing. It's not a matter of losing, white man from town. It's a matter of the margins. Okay? It's a matter of the margins. The president won that state, Tennessee 7, by 22 points. If she shaves off 20 points, that's a massacre to you, and she can still lose. We're not worried about the win-loss. We'd love to have the win, but what we want to see is how close she gets. That's how close we want to see. But, hey, y'all keep pretending like ain't no wave coming. Keep pretending.
Katie, I'm still expecting a fairly comfortable Republican win. This is still a very culturally polarized district. The Democratic overperformance in special elections this year has been an average of about 18 points. But as you mentioned, this is a Trump plus 22 district. And what makes this unique is that Democrats are relying on Black voters in North Nashville, who make up the Democratic base in this district, rather than the types of demographics that have propelled them to closer margins or surprise victories elsewhere this year. But it's going to be close enough, I think, to give Republicans pause about pursuing maximally aggressive gerrymanders in the states that are left considering them, including Indiana and Florida.
Explain that.
Yeah, well, in Tennessee, as you alluded to, Republicans, they obliterated the Nashville district in 2021 and spread Democrats in multiple directions into really 4 different districts. And in Indiana, what Republicans are proposing, at least in the Indiana House at the moment, is to nuke the Indianapolis district held by Andre Carson in 4 different directions. And so Republicans, if they see a thin margin for Matt Van Epps in this election, that could cause Republicans in other states and Republican members of Congress to apply pressure not to make drastic changes, considering how favorable of an environment we're seeing for Democrats overall.
So, Jake, you first brought all of this to my attention, the redistricting fight, and you kept saying it was a really big deal. It was a massive story because of the risk that Republicans would be, the risky position Republicans would be putting themselves in. We started by talking about Texas. What do you make of, I mean, this race is close. I know Dave says the Republican's going to win, but a plus 22 district where there's a Democrat even in striking distance, a Democrat that we're even talking about on national news, that in itself says a lot.
Yeah, it does. If the Republicans I've spoken to in the state over the last day or two think it'll be a Republican victory between 4.5% and 6%. That lines up with what Dave is saying, which is an 18% Democratic overperform on average. So listen, that should give Republicans pause on a lot. And the problem here for Republicans is going to be they're going to brush this off as just an aberration, as a special election that has goofy turnout the Tuesday after Thanksgiving. People aren't paying attention, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And that's all true. I'm not discounting that. But if that can't be your only takeaway, right? You can't say that this special election is completely divorced from every other political reality in the country. That's just, it doesn't make any sense. You can't say that this has nothing to do with what Republicans are doing in Washington, nothing to do with the president, and it's only for this reason. I don't think that passes the straight face test. And Dave, who's much more of an expert on redistricting than I am. In fact, his Twitter handle or his X handle is redistrict. So I'm hesitant to talk about redistricting in his midst. But I think, to be honest with you, that, and Dave, correct me if you think I'm wrong, but I think that the train is running down the track so fast in a state like Florida, where DeSantis said yesterday he is going to redistrict. This has become a litmus test for a lot of Republican politicians across the country. And they will just throw caution to the wind and say, forget it. Like, we'll deal with the ramifications later. Trump wants to redistrict. We're going to redistrict. I mean, the redistricting that they're talking about in Florida is absolutely bonkers. They're talking about eliminating all but two Democrats in the state, eliminating basically the entire South Florida Democratic delegation, perhaps going into Tampa and eliminating Kathy Castor. I mean, this would be a drastic overhaul of the Florida map. And I will just say, it will come back to bite them at some point, because some of these districts will not be as Republican as they once were. There's going to be bad years for Republicans in the future. Republicans underperform when Trump is not on the ballot. Trump's not going to be on the ballot forever. But right now, this is just a litmus test, and Republicans are going to do, except in a state like Indiana, you know, they are going to do what Trump wants them to do, which is to redistrict.
And that's the thing. When Republicans know they're going to lose, they start redistricting or gerrymandering the state. So they know that's, otherwise they wouldn't be doing gerrymandering, because they know they can't win, because they know that their policies are unpopular with the regular everyday average guy. You have zombies who still believe what they say, because I still haven't seen anybody put anything in the chat that the Republican Party has done for them for the past year. They can't say. Nobody can say. So the Republicans don't have anything for a regular everyday average man. Their party is for rich people. But we have poor people who cape for the rich people. And so they know their policies are unpopular. The Republican, they know they're unpopular. This is why they love to cheat when it comes to gerrymandering. Democrats wouldn't gerrymander. They very rarely gerrymander because they don't have to, because their policies are popular. Once you talk to people about the Democratic policies, they're popular. Once you talk to them about what the Republicans bring to the table and their policies, they're unpopular. So they're gerrymandering because they know they're going to lose the midterms, and they're going to lose the midterms bad. That's why right now Texas is talking about redistricting. Who else is talking? Other play, I guess Ohio maybe. I don't know what Republican districts are redistricting. I don't know. But I know that they're doing it now this year, even though they're not supposed to be doing it this year. That's why they went to court. That's why the Supreme Court told them to hold the fuck off, because why are you redistricting? So they're redistricting because they know they're going to lose. That's why they're redistricting. And then Democrats are following suit. So you're going to redistrict, we're going to redistrict, because you're not going to put a heading on, you're not going to take away all the Democrats, and then because you can win if you take away Democrats. You can't win if we stay the same, because our policies are better.
And what does that say, Leanne, about their confidence for their majority, the confidence for their prospects in gaining a majority in Congress?
Yeah, well, Katie, the fact that they decided to go forward with the redistricting in so many of these states, also pushed, of course, by Trump in the White House, shows that they are very nervous about their election prospects in 2026. And this was all happening.
Of course, that's why I know when the Republicans start to redistrict, when they start doing those things, that means they know that their policies are unpopular and they're going to lose.
Mind you, before the November elections, where Republicans completely underperformed more than what was expected by Democrats.
That's just dumb. White man from town, you're just dumb. You know why. Stop it. You know why. Had nothing to do with our policies. You know why. Stop it. This is what you do. That's what you all do as Republicans. You know we're not talking about Biden. We're talking about the unpopularity of your party. We're talking about the unpopularity of your party. Please put in the chat 2 policies that's for people making $30,000 to $150,000. Put it in the chat, white man from town. 2 policies that your party put forward this year that helps the person who makes between 30 and 150K. I'll wait. Put it in the chat. That helps anybody.
Democrats and Republicans. And
I'll wait.
so now redistricting, which seemed like a play to not only preserve their majority, but perhaps enhance their majority from the White House and the Trump administration, this might be their only hope in keeping some sort of semblance of a Republican majority in 2026. But, you know, as Jake said, as, you know, we have reported many times that it was not necessarily House Republicans who wanted to move forward with this redistricting effort. And that's because it's going to spread so many members' seats relatively thin. And in a bad election year, in a wave election year, that could really backfire on Republicans. And so while redistricting is seen as an effort to keep the majority, it actually could backfire and make it much more difficult. And you could see more Republicans actually lose their seats, Katie.
I'm just trying to look at my notes for this Facebook post for an Indiana state senator, Jake. And this is interesting because it's Republicans pushing back on this redistricting. You heard Leanne talking about that. Yeah. But the Indiana state senator, Michael Bohacek.
Because they understand the same, what you just said. They understand. We're going to lose. It's a matter of, do you want to lose a lot or you want to lose a little? Stop redistricting and take stock of the message. That's why the Indiana people are pushing back. Shut up.
Is opposing redistricting. And Indiana's been an interesting place because the lawmakers there.
Ain't no food went down, white man from town. Ain't no food went down. Ain't no food went down. Donald Trump don't have nothing to do with the gas. Stop talking about that. No gas. All that's more expensive. You see, I asked him to put in the chat what policy that Republicans have. Give me two policies that help people who make between $30,000 and $150,000. They can't never give me no two policies that help people who make that kind of money. Never. Because the Republicans don't have policies for poor people. They only have policies for the rich people. They don't stand on nothing for the poor people. And people see that now. Shut up, Mad Rush. Come up with your policy. Come up with your two policies that help poor people. That you Republicans help poor people. Don't talk about tax on tips. Because most people don't make tips. Don't talk about that. Because they ain't got nothing to do with you. Most people it ain't got nothing to do with. So don't say that.
There have not wanted to do this despite the president's push and despite the governor's push. Here's what this state senator said about it. This is a Facebook post. Many of you have asked my position on redistricting. I have been an unapologetic advocate for people with mental disabilities since the birth of my second daughter. Those of you that don't know me or my family might not know that my daughter has Down syndrome. This is not the first time our president has used these insulting and derogatory references, and his choices of words have consequences. I will be voting no on redistricting. Perhaps he can use the next 10 months to convince voters that his policies and behavior deserve a congressional majority. He was
damn, and that's a Republican saying that. That's a Republican saying your president is trash for what he's been saying. I still ain't seen those policies that help poor people. Mark and white man from town, I ain't seen it yet. Where they at?
Talking about the president, by the way, using the R word about Governor Tim Walz of Minnesota. But that last line, perhaps he can use the next 10 months to convince voters that his policies and behavior deserve a congressional majority. That says a lot about at least one Republican who's looking at the landscape, Jake, and seeing the poll numbers and seeing the dissatisfaction. The approval rating is in the gutter, and saying, this is not on me to make it easier for you. You should take a hard look at yourself.
You know, I was talking to somebody yesterday up here who made a really good point to me. A lot of people are seeing are becoming aware, let's say, that Donald Trump's tenure will come to an end. It's not going to be in 26 or 27. It's going to be like 2028 is not very far away. And the fact that Indiana, a state that Trump reminds people he won many times, he has sent J.D. Vance there twice to lobby people on these congressional maps. He has called in to Republican caucus meetings in the state. He has done everything he can. He had Mike Johnson talk to them. He has done everything he can to push Indiana to redraw this map. And the state Senate is just not interested, whether it's this state senator who didn't like Trump's, and rightfully so, thought the name calling of Tim Walz was inappropriate, or it's just people who are like, yeah, I don't think we should be redrawing the map to rig the election for Republicans. Like, that is what this is. And that's not like it's not, they have the power to do this, but they are doing this to get more Republican seats. Like, they are getting rid of a Democratic seat in Indianapolis, a big city that has had Democratic representation for a long time. The other seat, Frank Mervan in the Gary area in the states, in the Chicago exurbs. I mean, these are seats that they are Democratic, and they are redrawing the map to give themselves an advantage in 2026. And I can tell you, I've had Indiana Republicans say to me, like, Trump is popular, redistricting is not. Like, people have pulled this issue.
Only the Republicans redistrict because they know they're going to lose, and their policies are trash. We still ain't heard from any of the Republicans in the chat. What policies have you had that have helped poor people? Nobody. None. So therefore, you need to be voted out of power because you have nothing to help the poor people today. The poor people today need gas prices to go slower, gas prices to be cheaper, food to get lower. They need all of these things, and the Republicans gave a tax cut to the billionaires. They gave $40 billion to Argentina. That's why. He has nothing to do with gas prices, mad. The president has nothing to do with gas prices. That's how I know y'all don't know what you talk. That's how I know you're talking about. The president has nothing to do with gas.
Members of Congress have pulled this issue, and it's just not popular. And you're seeing the waning, I think Leanne and Dave would agree, of Trump's power on an issue like this and his sway over his party.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a correct assessment. You guys can tell me.
You MAGA people must live in another world because the rest of us ain't seen no food prices that are cheap. And the rest of us don't see no cheap food prices or no cheap gas prices. And inflation ain't lower. Inflation is higher. Cheeses. Inflation is higher. Your president is doing nothing for the poor people.
If you disagree, Dave, but you were talking about Virginia and the redistricting there. You've got a whole long piece about it today. Explain what happened in Virginia and what it means for the Republican Party.
Well, at the outset of this redistricting war, Republicans thought they might be able to double or even triple their cushion in the House heading into 2026. That may still be true if Republicans get the map that Jake described through in Florida, which we'll see. But one of the blind spots Republicans had was the extent to which Democrats could convince voters to set aside constitutional amendments they had passed against gerrymandering in blue states. And we saw California do that by 28 points. It's going to net Democrats most likely 4 or 5 seats. And there's a lot of upside for Democrats in Virginia, where under the state code, they have to pass through the General Assembly 2 separate measures approving a constitutional amendment, then send it to voters most likely next April for a referendum before they can redraw the lines. They would have to push back the primary. Republicans are challenging this in court. But if Democrats, who are poised to hold a trifecta once Abigail Spanberger takes office, if they get new lines through, they could easily get rid of 3 Republican members of Congress from Virginia and possibly a 4th Republican. And that could offset what Republicans are doing elsewhere, whether it's Indiana or Florida, if Republicans are successful there.
This is where we are, ladies and gentlemen. We at the scamming part of the Republicans. We're at the scamming part. Let's see.
Tennessee, choosing between Republican candidate Matt Van Epps or Democrat candidate Aftyn Behn in the special election for the state's 7th congressional district. Democrats have poured millions into this race in an attempt to flip this red district blue. But there is new controversy surrounding that Democrat candidate over previous comments like this.
I've been heavily involved with the Nashville mayoral race because I hate the city, I hate the bachelorettes, I hate the pedal taverns, I hate country music.
President Trump and Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez are reportedly set to hold tele-rallies for the two candidates on their respective parties, with some saying that this contest is a possible indicator for how the midterms might go.
Tell us how you really feel, Aftyn. Republican National Committee Senior Advisor Danielle Alvarez joins us now. Danielle, good morning to you. We're talking about Tennessee District 7. It's an area that President Trump won by 22 points in 2024. And this race tomorrow is expected to be tighter than that. Is that raising any alarm bells within the administration?
You know, it's a special election. One of the most important things that the Republican National Committee and Republicans have to do in this race is inform voters that an election is happening. Make sure that they have a plan to vote. We know that early voting has ended. We know that election day is tomorrow. Today, you will see Chairman Joe Gruters. You will see Speaker Mike Johnson. President Trump will hold a tele-rally later this evening. And it is so important that everyone in Middle Tennessee knows that this election is happening and turns out to vote, because this will be a low turnout election, and we need to make sure that everyone has a plan. It will be a tight race, but I think the Republicans will pull through.
To follow up on Carly's question, the president posting on Truth Social, quote, "To the great people of Tennessee's 7th district who gave me record-setting wins in each of 3 elections, I am asking you to get out and vote for Matt Van Epps. He will be a great congressman, and unlike his opponent, he cherishes Christianity and country music." Those are interesting to put together. "She hates them both. This is a very pivotal election. The whole world is watching. Make America great again." And to follow up on your answer to Carly's question, are you expecting Donald Trump to get people to the polls with a statement like that, with the tele-rallies for an election that is odd, like you mentioned, and which is literally 3 weeks before Christmas, when, quite frankly, people aren't paying attention to politics?
Well, that's certainly the hope. We know that President Donald Trump is a turnout machine. We know that obviously anytime he's on the ballot, he makes history. I mean, just look at the most recent November election. And so certainly him bringing his X account, his Truth Social account, using his power to make sure that Republican voters and MAGA voters know that the election is tomorrow. Make sure that they make a plan to vote, because Matt Van Epps is a great candidate. He will be a great representative for Tennessee 7. And Aftyn Behn, of course, is a self-loathing, self-hating Democrat who hates Tennessee, hates Nashville, self-proclaimed hates country music. And more importantly, she's campaigning on affordability. But in the Tennessee Assembly, she voted against tax cuts for small businesses. She opposed President Trump's tax cuts for middle-class families, which in 2026 would save Tennesseans about $4,000. She's the wrong choice for Tennessee. We need to listen to President Trump. We need to get out and make a plan to vote.
Yesterday, President Trump called himself the affordability president. What did he mean by that?
President Trump has been focusing on very core issues from the campaign trail. He's been focusing on securing the border. He's been focusing on peace through strength. And he has certainly, and most importantly, been focusing on the economy. Unfortunately, Joe Biden, during his time in the Oval Office, dug us into a hole, really tanked our economy. Inflation was through the roof. And since then,
I forgot to go to the bathroom. It's Biden's fault. I shot somebody in the face. It's Biden's fault. Oh man, we bombed the boat 2 times. It's Biden's fault. Oh my God, we forgot to clean the porch off. It's Biden's fault. Oh my God, every time you turn around, it's Biden's fault. It's never a Republican's fault. It's always Biden's fault. Man, I chipped my toe. I stubbed my toe. It's Biden's fault. Oh man, I fell off the porch. It's Biden's fault. Shut the fuck up about what Biden did or didn't do and take accountability for everything. That's what you do. This is what Republicans do. No accountability. Don't never stand on their own shit. It's always the Republicans' fault. I mean, it's always the Democrats' fault. It's never their fault. Always the Democrat. I fell off the porch. It's the Democrat. But Biden.
Helpful. And that's the space that I think Democrats and the left more broadly are hurting the most on. So that's where I'll plant myself. Is there any worries about voter interference? I haven't heard any reports or anything like that that would suggest that that
we broke a nail. It's Biden's fault. Oh man, we made the wrong turn on the highway. It's Biden's fault. But Biden. Oh, it's either Biden or it's Obama. Obama's fault. Oh, it's Obama's fault. It's Biden. It's Biden. When the hell did he become the affordability president? He don't give a damn about you people that make between 30,000 and 150K. He ain't did jack shit for y'all. Not jack shit. And y'all over here caping for the rich people. It's Biden's fault. No, I chipped a tooth. It's Biden's fault. Oh, man. I went to the bathroom and couldn't find no tissue. It's Biden's fault. Oh, my God. I blew up boats in the Caribbean. It's Biden's fault. That new scandal that's going on right now. Oh, we don't know who gave the order to do that second bit, that second hit. It's Biden's fault. He whispered it in Bradley's ear to shoot down the boat. It's Biden's fault. Y'all are just sickening. You Republicans are sickening.
Voter interference or the DOJ or some paramilitary group are a factor in this race. But of course, if we do hear anything, I'll let you know. But haven't heard anything from that. I speak to Mark Elias regularly. I think I would have, he would have flagged for me if there was any legal hurdles that would prevent some type of accurate election day here. Even if Aftyn Behn won, Republicans would still
Come on, y'all. Hold on. My guy. Here he is.
like hugely Republican. But then as soon as you get over the river here, and I believe this is Cumberland River, as soon as you get over it, it just becomes deep red. Now, where are the real deep red areas you need to look at? Well, Dixon is the one that I'm looking at. I want to see how Dixon goes, because if we look at Dixon County and the land.
That's the problem with you, Mad Rush. You know your Republican. We don't worry about the Democrats. We need to know what policies that this Republican Party has for the people who make between 30,000 and 150. I haven't seen anybody put anything in the chat. All I heard was Biden did it. Biden did it. Oh, I chipped a tooth. Biden did it. The inflation, Biden did it. That's all we hear is Democrats is libertards, Democrats is bankrupt, Democrats is thieves. But you notice they ain't came up with nothing that helps the poor people. We want to know what the Republicans did in this big, beautiful bill that helped the poor people. Biden did it. Biden did it. We can't do nothing because Biden did it. Nothing for the poor people.
last election, we see it was at 73%. If this thing is under 60%, that's going to be interesting. If it's around 65%, Dixon County's around 65%, it's going to be a very close race, or Aftyn Behn's going to win. So Dixon County is a place where they're going to look to get a lot of votes. And then you also have, just keeping in this area, you have Franklin here, which is Williamson County. Okay, so Williamson County is another one. Aftyn Behn won it in the primary, and it is very Republican. You can see here 67, 71%, 68. But in and around Franklin, I'm kind of surprised it's not more Democratic. This is where the mall is. If you've ever been going down the interstate towards I-65 down toward Franklin, you see the big mall there in Franklin. So you do have some areas where it gets a little bit closer, but Williamson County is going to be one to keep an eye on, because as you can see, Mark Green won it 65% to 33%. Does that get under 60% tonight? Okay, Rapper BC. Aftyn is my Tennessee state rep, and she's outstanding. Thanks for the coverage, Day. You're welcome. I thought I'm only 3 hours away from Nashville. I thought about going to Nashville tonight to do the coverage, but it's just too, the weather sucks right now. So everyone's talking about the weather. Yeah, the weather sucks. And right now it's just easier to do it here. So yeah, so we still have 12 more minutes until polls close. I'm keeping an eye on some of the some of the other channels, the national. Whoa, hold on. No. Stop. Shut up.
We still waiting for you people to put in the chat what Trump has done for the poor people, because I haven't seen it, haven't heard it. That's the reason why you're losing, is because you're not worried about helping the fellow man. Your president is worried about the rich people. Keep on calling the mad people names, Mad Rush. Keep on doing it. But you still haven't come up with a policy that you help the poor man with. You still haven't come up with a policy that Republicans help the poor people with. Not one. It ain't the tax cuts, because he didn't give you no tax cut. Your goofy think you got a tax cut, but your goofies didn't get a tax cut. So turn it around and give us two policies that the Republicans got for people between the salaries of $30,000 and $150K. This is what we want to know. I don't want to argue about whether the Democrats ain't shit. The Democrats don't have no message. We don't have no leader. We don't have nothing. But yet and still, the masses are rejecting Republicans. Why is that? If you guys have such a great party, where are the policies that go for the poor people? That's all I want to know. No, don't say Dems are stupid. Give me two policies, Jared Noy. Give me two policies. That's all I want to know. Give me two policies, and I'll shut the fuck up. You have nothing. You run by pussy. Yeah, I know, Mad Rush, but you still ain't gave me no policies. You can call all the names you want. You can call us the libertards, the retards, the goofies, all of those things. But you still ain't came up with no policies that the Republicans had put forward this year that help poor people, and you haven't put to a case that would make anybody want to go over there and be a Republican. So y'all, I don't know what you want us to say. Y'all don't stand on nothing. Ain't nobody came up with no policy. None of y'all in the chat. All y'all running your mouth about the libertards. Libertards are dumb. Libertards are stupid. Blah, blah, blah. But come up with two policies that we can talk about.
I'm trying to see if any of them are going to have a live stream of anything. I do not know. It'll be interesting to see if they do. So yeah, overall, what are we looking for? Obviously, Nashville. Hopefully that number gets over 70%. I think in a special election it can, and turnout is more. Now, one thing I did want to mention before I continue. Okay.
Shut your lying ass up. Shut your lying ass up, Mad Rush. Y'all see how they get in the chat and lie? He know damn well ain't no Americans doing them jobs on them farm. He know they ain't doing none of that. He lying to y'all. That's what they say. No, I set a policy, goofy, Mad Rush, zombie. I set a policy. You ain't gave us no policy. No policies. Name a policy. Ain't nobody gave no policy. He ain't gave one that helps anybody between the salary of $30,000 and $150K. None.
As far as early vote is concerned, Davidson County is 24.8% of the vote. 1/4 of the vote has come from Davidson County. Now, overall, in the last election, it was 22.3%. Okay, so Nashville and Williamson have a higher proportion of the vote right now compared to previously. But that's just early votes. Obviously, we don't know what's going to happen on election day. Montgomery is a little bit lower, so we'll see what happens there. I wasn't born here, so okay. So Diego, thank you very much for your generous $20 super chat. Greatly appreciate it. I wasn't born here. I'm not natural, or I am a naturalized citizen. I will now not renounce my Brazilian citizenship. If dual citizenship is gone, I can lose my American citizenship and be forced back to Brazil. Aren't you worried about white? Oh, I am worried about white nativism. I mean, honestly, if they say 14th Amendment, because we're in the Trump era. What the hell is the Constitution, right? If they told me that, you had to pick between American and Slovak citizenship, I got my Slovak citizenship paperwork right here. I'm set. I'm good to go. I'd pick Slovakia any day. I'd live in Europe. Yeah, obviously. So yeah, it is getting well. See, and this is why I do think tonight will be quite interesting. Is you do have someone who has a message of, I hate to do the old hope and change, but she's talking about hope and change, but with actual policy, talking about affordability. One thing that Aftyn Behn has talked a lot about, if you're not from Tennessee and you haven't been following it as much, she has talked about the possible privatization of the Tennessee Valley Authority. So anyone who lives in a place where the public utilities are provided by the government, not by private companies, you notice a significant lower electricity bill, which Tennessee has one of the lowest electricity bills because of this. And with that being the case, I lived in Quebec, in Hydro-Quebec. When I went to McGill University, Hydro-Quebec was my bill, and I would pay $50 every 2 months for electricity in my apartment. It was insane. And she has really made the privatization of the TVA a huge
was a poll that came out that showed this to be a close race. And something else we've seen this year is in other special elections for Congress. In races like this, we've seen Democrats doing a lot better in those special elections than they did in the presidential election last year. And so there's indications this might be a suspenseful race tonight. We are waiting. The way it's gone in this district in the past, they've started to report out results in these counties really quickly. So I'm kind of watching this like a hawk in case we see one of these counties light up right here. But basically what we're looking at tonight, Gotti, as the results start to come in, I'll zoom in a little bit. You're talking about parts of the city of Nashville. It's not all of Nashville in this district. Nashville's suburbs, there's some well-to-do suburbs to the south. Then there's the city of Clarksville here. That's one of the bigger cities in Tennessee. And then there's a lot of rural areas to the west and to the south in this district. If Democrats are going to have a good night, if Democrats are going to have a winning night in this district, I think they need to have two things happen. Number one, right here where Nashville is, that's Davidson County. Democrats have to win this They have to win this big, and they have to have massive turnout. That's what we're looking to see. Are they able to do that in Davidson County? That's one piece of it. And the other area here, I think this is, we're going to spend a lot of time tonight looking very closely at Montgomery County, where Clarksville is, because I think it's the closest thing of all the counties you're looking at here to a swing county in this race. If Democrats are going to pull off the upset, I think Montgomery County, where Clarksville is one they would need to win. You're going to have a lot of other Republican areas here. And the question for Republicans, because they've really sounded the alarm in the last week, Republicans have about this district in these rural areas. Are Republicans getting some big turnout too? That was one of their concerns, that their voters maybe weren't as engaged. You got it. All right, folks. Thanks for bearing with me.
We got all our guys. We got the results are starting to trickle in. Let's see what the result. Let's see if we got anything. These are the guys. These guys are the pollsters. These are the guys right here. They do pollstering for a living. So let's see what they got to say.
We want to share. We might as well share the screen that has the results coming in if we can.
Share the
I can
screen.
do that, or Chris, you can do that.
Yeah, I can do it. No, I got it. Give me one sec.
However you want to do it.
It's one of the more. It's one of the counties furthest. We've got a couple counties in both Van Epps counties.
So,
hold on, I'm doing it. Lauren, I'm doing it this second. Let me make it a little bit bigger. Okay, Lauren, we should be good. We should have it there. Yeah. So I mean, very little, but
if you want to scroll down actually a little bit.
Yeah, dude.
You scroll down a little bit, you see the map. You can see the map.
Yeah. Where it is? Can you guys see that now? Yeah. I mean, by the way, like classic. I was literally just doing a thing. For people who don't know, I'm at the University of Illinois. Chuck and I's mutual friend Colleen King is a professor here, runs a great program. I don't know if you can see over my right shoulder. That's Chuck Todd right there. And I was just doing, who has been here, and I was just doing a talk, and somebody asked about redistricting and gerrymandering, and I was like, man, like look at this district. Like it starts, it's the entire north-south of the state. Like, right. And this isn't even a terribly drawn district, but this is remarkable.
Hey, did you guys catch what Tim Burchett, who's a Tennessee Republican, said about this race and about redistricting in general? Because what's interesting about the Tennessee map, Jeffrey, and confirm this, but is what they did to
you have such Democratic. You're such a goofy when it comes to Democrats. Mad rush. You sound like you're deranged. You sound like you're unhinged. When someone says Democrat, it's like you lose all functioning. You really need to get that checked. You sound like you're unhinged.
In Nashville is what, for instance, Republicans in Indiana want to do to Indianapolis, or what we've seen in the past, what Utah tried to do to Salt Lake, which is you take the bluest part of your state and you make it a spoke, right? And you try to just slice it. So they distributed Nashville essentially to 3 different congressional districts in order to get rid of a Democratic district that was in Nashville. It worked, except every district is in this 57 to 62% Republican area, which means in a special like this, a little movement all in one direction suddenly makes the seat competitive. And what I think what Congressman Burchett was trying to get at is that, hey, what the Republicans could end up inadvertently doing is allowing a wave to develop and put more seats on the table with this redistricting. Is Burchett right about this, Jeffrey?
I mean, I think it is a genuine concern. If you actually want to, Lauren, not to keep flipping between screens here, but we still don't have that many votes. But if you wanted to flip over to mine, I actually have a map up of Nashville.
See, the honest to God truth is, Mad Rush, this country has flourished. This country has always done better under Democratic rule. You can go back and look at any kind of stats that you want. The Democrats have always done better. This America has always done better under Democratic rule. You could just look it up. Nobody can contest that. Nobody can dispute that. It's always done better under Democratic rule. So you can call a Democrat shitty. You can call them whatever you want. Every time a Democrat has gotten into the seat of the presidency, this country has thrived and gotten better. It just has. Just has. I mean, it's fact. And every time it's gotten under the Republican rule, we have gotten our money taken out of the country. Okay? It's every time. Every time they flourish. No, it hasn't. That's the problem, Mad Rush. Everybody can see that it has not flourished under Trump. You're goofy if you're not a millionaire, Mad Rush. You're goofy. Why are you caping for rich people and you're not rich? Your fucking life hasn't changed one goddamn iota since Trump came into this White House. Not one goddamn iota. Food is up. Gas is up. Everything is up. And you over here caping for a rich dude that ain't changed your life at all. If you ain't rich, stop lying. Because you sound crazy. You sound crazy if you're not rich. He hasn't done anything for the poor, everyday American man. Goofy. You over here caping for the rich billionaires. Everything is up, white man. Every person in this chat that's not that it will be honest. Don't lie. Everyone in this chat will be honest, and they can tell that food prices is up. Stop it. Only you goofy maggots say this shit. Everybody else know this shit ain't low. Everybody else know this shit ain't low. Yo, wild. Just goofy, saying any old thing. We all know the prices ain't low.
The Tennessee congressional map, and you can see Nashville is cracked, as they say in redistricting gerrymandering terms, is cracked across 3 districts. So Nashville, before the 2022 election, before the 2020 census redistricting process, was all in the 5th district. It was basically almost entirely Davidson County, which is
very Democratic district, always
county.
elected a Democrat.
Blue dot. It is a blue dot,
yeah,
and now increasingly red Tennessee. Tennessee has moved to the right more than almost any state in the country, actually, sort of in the last 20, 25 years. And so Republicans, understandably, looked at that and said, well, we have pretty safe margins around this in the neighboring districts. So why don't we turn the 5th district into a clearly red-leaning seat and pick that up? And so they did that by putting part of the 7th district, which is the orange one here, and part of the 6th district, snaking them, not even snaking. I mean, snaking would be thinner, in parts of it, right? So in the end, you get these 3 districts. And so the 7th, the thing with the 7th is that it's a 60-38 Trump district. And so that shouldn't be in danger. Again, we've said that already. However, if you have a special election with lower turnout and you get, this will be kind of fun. You get all these blue voters right over here.
Yeah.
Yep.
Up at a disproportionately high level when Republican turnout is comparatively lower in the rest of this sea of red out here. And maybe even get some more Democrats from the Clarksville area, which is basically the only other notable source of Democratic votes in this district. That's in Montgomery County, which is the other big vote source in the part of Davidson County that is in the 7th. That could create, a close race. So I'm definitely interested to see what percentage of the vote we get out of those 2 places, because at least in the early vote, and I will switch over to this now, at least in the early vote, the Nashville was decent. So this is a comparison of early vote in the 2024 election and early vote in this election. So you're comparing apples to apples as a percentage of the early votes cast. You have these 2 lighter red. There's Montgomery with Clarksville, and Williamson, which is a suburban county just south. It was also split in half, with Franklin as just the main city there. These are sort of the 3 largest vote sources. And these 2, plus this very red county, Cheatham, have had higher turnout, or at least as a percentage, again, 35 to 40% of the early vote in 2024.
Higher as apples to apples, right?
Yes, higher as a percentage of the 2024 early vote, which means, again, not a high turnout situation if you're getting 35 to 40% of the early vote. And Davidson here, the Nashville portion, is on the higher side. And then you have a bunch of these smaller red, very dark red counties, some of those early ones we're seeing votes from, much lower. And I do think that that is a concern for Republicans and could speak to how this could end up being close, because then they have to have more election day turnout to make up for this. Now, Republicans are more likely to
Davidson, Montgomery County. Again, we're talking about Clarksville here. We've just got the early vote in Montgomery County. And Aftyn Behn, the Democrat, you could see by a 3-point margin, wins.
Sure, the host lies a lot. The host lies all the time. And you all are lying all the time. The price of groceries, nothing has went down. That's the lie that you all tell.
The early vote and takes the lead here in the tally in Montgomery.
Don't listen to them, Gregory Young. They in that MAGA bubble. They lie for a living.
County. Again, in 2024, more votes in this district came out of Montgomery County than any other county or any other portion of this district. And we said, if you were watching or if you missed, I'll say it again at the top of the broadcast. As these counties fill in tonight, if there is one swing county, if there's one county I want to know the winner of to guess who's won the whole district, it is Montgomery County. There's a core Democratic county in Davidson County. If there's one other that has a chance of being blue tonight, it would be Montgomery County. In the early vote, it is. Let's show you what happened here in 2024. Donald Trump won this by 18 points over Kamala Harris, Montgomery County. Again, you see right now, that is a margin of 3 points for Aftyn Behn. So with the early vote, that is a swing of 21 points away from the Republicans and towards the Democrats. And remember, the number we're measuring in every one of these districts and district-wide is 22. Trump's margin was 22. Democrats have to have a 22-point net improvement from that. With the early vote in Montgomery County, they've got 21 in one of the biggest, maybe the biggest counties in the district tonight. So, again, we keep saying this. Is that early vote more Democratic? Is it significantly more Democratic than the vote that's cast in person on Election Day? Because as the Election Day vote is added to this, if it's more Republican, if Van Epps is winning it, then these numbers are going to change. Van Epps might even go ahead here. And then that shift from 2024 will become lower and lower and lower. And the more it moves from 22 points, the lower it gets from 22, the less a chance Democrats have, the more their chances will fade. So really, already the picture that's emerging here in this district is that same day vote. Democrats are kind of going to need that same day vote in Montgomery County to defy a bit of what we've come to expect of it. They're going to need, a flood of Democrats or Democratic voters to have come out today because this is the kind of shift they're going to need.
And we hope that the Democrats come out because they're trying to turn the corner for this radical Republican administration. If the Democrats show up and they're enthusiastic, Hispanics show up, independents show up. If they all show up and vote for Aftyn, she might pull it out. It's over for the Republicans. We're tired of this whole debacle. We just tired of this president, period.
When the night is over in Montgomery County. They got it. They got close to it with the early vote, but they cannot lose that shift. They cannot afford to lose that shift as the rest come in. Again, you can see here all of the rural counties now outside of that sort of population zone I've been talking about.
You all hit the like, share, and subscribe. We have content like this every day. Every day we have content, something to do with the government. Please and thank you. We appreciate you. Please hit the like and the share and the subscribe.
Now have that early vote for. I'm trying to remember what I didn't show you. I don't think I had shown you Decatur yet. Again, Decatur is one of those West Tennessee counties here. 69 points for Trump in 2024. The early vote in Decatur, that is 45.5. So, again, that's about a 23.5 point shift there. Again, Democrats want it above 22. It's 23.5. With the early vote, at least in Decatur County. Did I see another one? Did I see another one light up? I'm talking to my producer off the air, Adam. Just everything else but the majors. Okay, so what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to hit the reset because now, again, that vote that we got here, again, that vote that came in Montgomery County, that's such a big, in terms of population, in terms of just raw number of votes, that's so big. You see Overall, now we've got a quarter. Remember, the first time I showed you this a few minutes ago before Montgomery, it was only 3% of all votes that were in. Now 25% of all votes are in here in this district. And again, you can see 16-point margin for Van Epps in sort of the running tally. But again, we're breaking this down a level deeper than Dixon County. I see Dixon County. I don't think I'd shown you this. Again, this is significant. This is a pretty significant one. About 8% of all the vote in the district is going to come out of Dixon County. You see half the vote. That's the early vote that came in Dixon County. This is a very Republican county. How Republican?
No, we're not looking for her. We're not looking for a win. We want to win. We want her to pull it out. We would love for her to pull it out, but we're looking to see if she closed the margin. Donald Trump won it for 22 points, with 22 points. If she comes within 5 points of winning, it is a devastating blow to the Republican Party. If she comes within 5, she makes the gap up at 17. She comes 17 points up, and it loses by 5 points. It's over. The Republicans got hell to pay.
Donald Trump won it by 52 points last year. What are we seeing tonight? That's easy math. That's 25 points. So 52, 25. That is a shift in the Democrats' favor of 27 points. Again, 27 points, and again, fairly significant population here. I'm showing you a lot of these other red counties I've shown you tonight are very, very small population counties. Dixon County is one of the bigger counties. It's not on the same level that you see where Clarksville is, where Nashville is, but it's one of the bigger counties. And again, I'm going to sound like a broken record with this, but the stakes here when we start to see that same day vote are huge, because what you're seeing in the early vote is that Behn is producing the kinds of swings from 2024 that she would need to put this on the edge of actually having a chance in this race. She'd be right on the cusp based on these swings we're seeing in the early vote. But if those swings do not continue into the vote that's cast same day, the vote that people went out and cast at the polls today, then she will slip, she will fall behind, she will not have a chance here, and Republicans might have a shot to actually open up a lead here, which they would very much certainly like to do. They wouldn't like to just win this, they'd like to win this by a handy margin. And again, I have a second here, I can finish a thought I started as I keep an eye on this board. We'll go to the district-wide results here. That is one thing, and this is why I talk so much about this same day vote. That's what Republicans have been talking about.
That's why the Republicans are running crazy, white man from town, because we only dealing with the brown. Ain't no brown people in Tennessee. Ain't no brown people in Tennessee. What are you talking about? So it's got to be some Democrats, because she's right up there with him. And it's got to be some white Democrats. Wow, white man from town. Wow. That's all she got to do is get within 5. That's all.
In the run up to this, in the days, in the couple days leading up to tonight, that they sounded the alarm in the last week, that Behn, through some of her past pronouncements, some of the positions she had taken in the past, really had exposed herself to some potentially very effective attacks and critiques from Republicans. Republicans felt they had sounded the alarm. They had made those critiques. They had made those attacks, that they had basically woken up the Republican base that maybe had not been as engaged as the Democratic base in this election. If that theory of the case is true, if what Republicans are hoping and saying they believe they did is true, it will be reflected in the same day vote. It won't be reflected in the early vote, because the entire idea is that a lot of the Republican base maybe was kind of asleep during the early vote while Democrats flooded the polls. Meanwhile, if the Republican base woke up in the last few days, what was there for them to do? It was to go out and it was to vote at the polls in person.
Yeah, well, we're hoping, we're hoping that some of the Republicans understand that they're not getting all that they're supposed to be getting from the Republican Party. I still say there's nothing that the Republicans have done for the Democrat. My whole point is, what have they done? What have the Republicans done for the party, Republican, for poor people? What have they done? Nobody still has not put anything in the chat to argue what the Republicans have done for the poor people. Not one thing. Okay. I don't see nobody came up with a policy. Nobody said nothing. Can't articulate the policy. Not one.
on election day. So again, the Republican theory of the case here is that as this election day vote comes in, there's going to be some strong Republican numbers that really erode these Democratic inroads that we're showing you with the early vote. Again, conversely, if there's been some sort of significant movement among swing voters against President Trump and the Republican Party, if there were even more Democratic voters, particularly in a place like Davidson County, which we're waiting on, who themselves weren't engaged until the final days, you would see a Democratic surprise with that same day vote. But that same day vote, my producer, Adam, is sitting right about 12 feet in front of me right here, and I see him looking down at his computer, and what he is doing is he is looking in all of these counties that I have shown you, where we now have every single one of these counties that we have lighted up here, lighted up. How do you say that? Every one of these, we have the early vote. As soon as we start getting the same day vote in any of these counties, he's going to let me know how it compares. Are we seeing the same shifts in that same day vote that we saw in the early vote? Has it become more Democratic? Has it become less Democratic? Has it become much more Republican? That's the ballgame. That's going to be the ballgame. But again, the other big thing that we're waiting on here, the two big population centers in this district, the ones that sort of.
Unfortunately for you, Jack, you live in that bubble. The American, we don't just worry about what the party does for our Democrats. We just don't worry about it. We worry about what our party does for the country as a whole. And 9 times out of 10, when a Democrat is a president, the country does better. There's no dispute of that. You can go back and look at it. The country does better as a whole when Democrats are running the country. And that's just a fact. And we have created more jobs, created more opportunities than everybody in this country. And that's the problem. Most of y'all don't know that because you don't read. Because if you read, then you would, and you read and you studied, then you would know that Democrat America has thrived better under the Democratic rule than they have the Republican rule. But then I don't expect you guys to do research because y'all never do research. Y'all never do research. Just is what it is. It is what it is. Prove me wrong. Not one of y'all can prove me wrong because I know it.
Loom over all the others. We've heard from one of them. We've got the early vote in from Montgomery County. We await the same day. The one we haven't heard from right here is Davidson County. And again, Davidson County, this is where the city of Nashville is. About a quarter of Nashville is in here. It's some different parts of Nashville. Some of the heavily black areas of Nashville are in this district. There are also some areas here in West Nashville, some areas around Vanderbilt University, some college students.
Oh, no, we ain't going to get no black vote. Black people only vote for black people. According to some of these MAGAs, black people only vote for black. We don't vote for no white people. She can't get our vote. No, we only vote for black people. Just dumb.
Some economically upscale areas as well that are more almost like suburban in nature. We haven't heard from that, but this is where Democrats run up their margins. I'll show you again. This is what happened in 2024. Kamala Harris won the Davidson County portion of this district by nearly 40 points. Behn wants to be winning.
Why do we always have to go over this, Tony Tigress? Why do you bring up garbage numbers? You already know why the inflation went up to 9%. You already know that. Why are you talking about 9%? What we're talking about now is Biden's inflation went up to 9% because of COVID and COVID-related spending, and then he got it down to 2.7%. Don't be disingenuous. Y'all get on here and say that goofy shit when everybody knows that the COVID and the COVID-like spending is why Biden's inflation was high. Then he got it down to 2.7%. You goofies know that. So why don't you look at what? No, it went down to 2.7%. By all measure. Please go look at that. Your president, the inflation is at 3% now. It's at 3% now. It was at 2.7%. Sure it is. I lie all the time. That's all you got to do is go look at the facts. Go look at some data. Stop telling me I'm lying and present me with facts. I don't understand why you coming over here saying I'm lying, but you ain't looked up no stats.
Winning this tonight by like 60 if she's going to have a chance district-wide. And again, she also wants disproportionate turnout. I'm saying we're not sure whether Davidson County, we're not sure whether Davidson County is going to produce the most votes or whether Montgomery County is going to produce the most votes. But I think if Behn is winning tonight, has any chance of winning tonight, the answer to that question for her probably needs to be Davidson County, because she could really, really run up the score there. Again, also waiting, this is the suburbs of Nashville. This isn't all of Williamson County, but this is a pretty big chunk of Williamson County, suburban Nashville, south of Nashville there. Again,
just dumb. Here they go. They in the chat saying it again. When I just told you all to go research Biden's, and I'm going to say it again for the people who slow. I'm going to say it for the slow people. Biden's highest inflation rate was 9.1 or 2%. His highest inflation rate was more than 9.1%. Then the COVID spending, all of those things that he had to do, that had to be done, raised it up to that 9.1. When he left office, goofies, the inflation rate was 2.7%. Goofies. Now the inflation rate is 3%. So the inflation rate is going up under Trump. I just got to keep saying it, Kate did. It's like they don't understand English. And they don't even have to believe me. That's all they got to do is go do the research. I don't understand. That's all you Google is all of our friend. I don't understand. Google is all of our friend. When Biden left office, the inflation rate was 2.7. Now it's 3 points. I don't understand. Google is everybody's friend. I don't understand.
I'll just show you. These are Republican suburbs here. Donald Trump won this portion of the district by 30 points last year. Again, if Democrats are going to have any chance in this district tonight, they need it to be probably single digits in Williamson County. I think they'd want to get it under 10 points. Obviously Republicans, the more they can get it well into double digits, the better they'll be feeling in Williamson County. Williamson County is sort of interesting too, because it's part of this story we've talked about nationally in the Trump era. Suburbs, sort of economically upscale suburbs, where you got like white collar professionals, a lot of college degrees, higher incomes. A lot of these Williamson County suburbs fit that mold. And we see this in suburbs around the country where they've moved pretty dramatically against Donald Trump. One of the features of 2024 was a lot of those suburbs in the Sun Belt region of the country, outside cities like Nashville in Williamson County, outside Dallas in Texas, other places like that, snapped back pretty strong towards Trump and towards the Republicans that sort of slide away from the Trump Republican Party. I'll put the overall numbers back up here. Don't worry, nothing new is coming.
I'm not saying anything that is not out there already. I'm not saying anything new. I'm saying, don't believe me, go do your research, but don't come in here saying, oh, you're lying about what you're saying. Oh, you're lying about the numbers. Oh, you're lying about food being down. Oh, up. You're lying about... No, don't come in here saying that. Prove me wrong. But you can't prove us wrong because you know what I'm saying is the truth. You just don't want to hear it. That's all.
And yet, as soon as it does, we're all over it. Don't worry about that. But again, those Williamson County suburbs are still, you hear nationally about the suburbs becoming sort of the core of the Democratic Party, the Democratic coalition, not outside Nashville. They are still big Republican suburbs. They're also extremely fast growing. That Nashville area, metro area, very fast growing. So again, we're waiting on Davidson. That's going to be a huge moment.
Sure don't, Red. Sure don't, Red Team Go. I have absolutely know nothing. Absolutely know nothing. And that's why I want you to do your own research. That's all I want you to do is your own research. Come with some research. Don't come over here talking about, I don't know what I'm talking about. When you don't have no research, don't do that. Don't do that.
when we see what happens with that early vote in Davidson, again, just how Democratic it is. And the question, too, is just how big it is in terms of the size of the turnout. Big moment when we find out something about Williamson County here. Again, I'm giving you a target there just in terms of trying to gauge the competitiveness of this race. If it's a single-digit race in Williamson County, this could be a competitive race. If it's double digits, it starts to move towards an advantage for Republicans. And the other big piece of real estate we have nothing from so far, Robertson County. Robertson County going to be about 10%, maybe a little bit less the way the turnout patterns go. But I'd say about 10% of the vote tonight is going to come out of Robertson County. And again, you're talking about in the sort of southern part of Robertson County here, closer to Nashville. You do have some suburbs. You have some older towns, some rural areas as well. You go all the way up to the Kentucky border there. You got a fun little story, that little divot there between Kentucky and Tennessee. They call that the dueling grounds. It's actually, there's a horse track there now, but this was contested land between the two states way back like in the 19th century. And so since no state really had ownership of it, that's where they did the duels. It's that, you ever notice it? It's that little dip there between Kentucky and Tennessee. Fun facts I could share with you as we wait for results in some of these counties. That's the fun thing with doing this live stream. But again, if you but so again, that's just to reset. That's where we stand. A quarter of the vote. 16-point advantage here just in terms of the raw tally for Van Epps over Behn, but some very big outstanding pieces of real estate here just in terms of getting even the early vote in those three counties. Again, those three counties should be just back of the envelope calculation here, 25, 36. Yeah, you're talking 45% of the vote in this district, or so should come out of these three counties. So very, very significant when we get those three. These are small, rural, low population counties that we have results in from so far. I just managed to switch the lines off. I put him back on. So again, if you wanted to make sort of an overall sort of assessment of the situation right now, I think it's clear, at least in the early vote phase of this, that Democrats have made very big gains in this district relative to 2024 when Donald Trump won it by 22 points. The gains that I'm seeing Democrats post in the early vote in all of the counties I've shown you so far are very consistent with the gains Democrats made in all of those special elections that I showed you at the top of the broadcast. If you were watching, we showed you a host of other special elections for Congress that have been held this year. Florida, Virginia, Arizona, where Democrats were making net gains of 16, 18, 22 points over their 2024 performance in the district. Certainly what we're seeing in the early vote here is consistent with that. In fact, probably exceeds what we've seen in those other places. But the problem Democrats have right now is that they need to replicate that when the same day vote is reported out in these counties. Again, the folks who did not vote in the early voting period, who came out, went to the polls today. How many of them are there? Is that group, is this going to be a much more...
Okay, let's listen to the guys. Let's listen to the guys. Let's listen to the guy.
To campaign with Aftyn Behn, but it seems to at least galvanize voters in Davidson County. What I'm really going to be watching here in the next little bit here is those Williamson County numbers. That's the suburban area. That's Brentwood. That's Franklin. And Chuck, you and I have talked about this in the past, but that's that area of the state where if this was somewhere like Kansas, for example, it's almost like the Johnson County of Tennessee, where there's a lot more college-educated folk moving in there, a lot more wealthier people moving in there from outside Nashville.
Right, but what my friend Brad Todd will tell you, because I've been having this debate with him.
Thank you for watching my numbers, Tony Tigers. I don't watch my numbers.
I've always said, and he's a Tennessee native. Many of you know him. We're not related. We're brothers from other mothers.
Love Brad.
And what he will say is, he said, look, a lot of these Nashville metro area transplants, right? These people that were not native Tennesseans that have moved into the area, they've moved from, he goes, you really notice it on Saturdays in the fall. So he goes, when you drive into these neighborhoods, they have Ohio State flags, Michigan flags, Wisconsin flags. They all moved from the Midwest.
I know, absolutely, my friend. I'm swinging between between my Republican guy and my American guy.
Our guy. Yeah.
My,
what was his Jonesy? that was his name, Jonesy. And Jonesy is like, this one's going to be close. That's how I feel here.
Yep.
I don't think she'll win Franklin. Okay, because look at Franklin here. It's 65%. Okay, 58%, and she's winning Montgomery 51-4. She's not. She doesn't have to win Franklin. It just has to be. It has. She doesn't have to win Franklin. I would say if.
Did you just ask me first name, last name, H6V, a live debate? A live debate? About what? That would be the question. About what? Y'all don't know how to debate. You Republicans don't never know how to debate. That's all you bring is culture war. Nobody wants to talk about culture wars. Who's in the bathroom?
If you can keep it, or I mean, again, I don't know what election day is going to do. But if I'm her candidate and saying that you're going to be up 46-53 or 47-52, once early votes are counted, I'd take it.
Hold up. First name, last name. What lies did we tell about Bidenflation? What lie did we tell about the Bidenflation? I'm confused. What lies did we tell about the Bidenflation? I don't get it. I conceded. His highest inflation was 9.1%. How the hell am I? Oh man, y'all goofy. They don't even it ain't no debate. It was 9%. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but again, remember, people, with this stuff about our latest estimate, they do not know what election day does. Okay.
They don't know.
If you do, unless they know what turned out on election day, that doesn't mean a damn thing. Like, I mean, like literally nobody might have turned out on election day. I wish I'd get these updated. You know, it looks like they're a little bit closer now. Let's see what counties are coming in.
My thing is, he said Biden equals a 40-year high inflation. Yeah. So I don't understand. So it was the 40-year high. So what are you talking about? What are we arguing about? Maybe it was. I don't know. So what are we debating about? That's wild. That's wild. Come on, guy. Talk.
Jesus H. Christ. Okay.
Uh-oh. What's going on?
Tennessee 5th Congressional District is R+8, not R+17. Holy cow, that's going to drive me nuts tonight. I'm sorry. People getting the how these numbers work. Oh, that's
What is you talking about?
someone saying stop the steal. I don't know if that's being facetious because Republicans just assume that everything they don't win is stolen, or if somebody really means that.
Every time when they don't win, they act like somebody's stealing. They just can't have shitty policies. I don't understand why you Republicans don't think you have shitty policies. When y'all lose, it's always stopping the steal. But you have shitty policies. You have shit. The man just said you got shitty policies. Why you get upset when people win over you? You got shitty policies.
Yes, percentage points. It's okay. That's the point. Okay. Ogles won at 56-39. Okay. He loses by 7% or 8%. He loses the district. Okay, it's not 17. If he lost the district, if the swing was 17% the other way, the Democrat would win it by like 8%. That's the point.
Right.
All right, let's go over to this.
The
Now we're
blue
just getting some
looks like
small
it's
numbers.
winning. The blue looks like it's winning. What's going on? What's going on?
Okay, see now if you're looking this Wayne County 82%, where you can see there 86. So if you're Behn, you're not like I thought the southern part of the district was going to be her weaker part. She really has concentrated in Davidson and Montgomery.
Okay.
And I assume Franklin. I don't know what vibes this is giving me, to be honest. I still think again, I don't know what election day turnout is. I still think Van Epps is in a position of advantage.
Come on, Behn. Come on.
So now the count
Come
is
on,
happening.
Aftyn. Come on.
So Perry County is almost done.
Yeah.
Wayne County is getting there.
Come on. Come on, y'all. Come on, Kornacki. What you got to say?
The Reconstruction days, post-Civil War, the city of Nashville was unified in one congressional district, and that district was basically an uninterrupted Democratic district. 19th century, 20th century, right up until the year 2022. Democrat Jim Cooper represented the Nashville-based district. The city of Nashville was the anchor of the district, and that had been sort of historically the case. Well, Republicans in Tennessee, redrawing the maps ahead of the 2022 midterms, they basically took the same approach. Put a pin in that.
Yeah, because he's the smartest guy on TV. That's why that's why Steve Kornacki is as popular as he is, because he's the smartest guy on TV. Y'all just hate on Steve Kornacki. He's the smartest guy on TV.
We just got some more vote. What did we get? More Wayne. What was the number?
We got 225 new votes. Just the cumulative is 8811.
Okay. No real headline, folks. I don't know if you could hear Adam, but again, it's coming. Wayne County, Tennessee is the king of same-day reporting so far. We got another precinct out of Wayne County. Same story. Small, rural, Republican, more Van Epps friendly.
You don't first name. You don't have to believe me, Goofy. Go look at the history. You keep telling us that we Democrats are lying. You ain't did no research, so you don't know. We know that the Democrat, and it's not even something that you even need to dispute or what is it? Debate. You don't need a debate. It's history. So that's all you got to do is look up the history. Look up the history and find out who did better, whose economy did better. According to history, Goofy's in the chat, Democrats have done better steering the economy than the Republican. I don't need to lie about that. Stop telling me I'm lying. Just go do your own damn research. The country fares better under a Democrat. It just is what it is.
Here's the thought I was on a second ago. Nashville was the anchor of a unified Nashville was the anchor of a Democratic congressional district, for more than a century, right up to 2022. And what Republicans in Tennessee did in the redraw in 2022 was they said they wanted to, draw more Republican districts. So what would they do? They broke up Nashville and they split it up, portions of Nashville, into different districts. And so that's how this district, which is rural, ex-urban, again, part of this district is even west of the Tennessee River in the West Tennessee, that Grand Division there. They added a quarter of the city of Nashville to it. So the idea Republicans had was, break up that Democratic district based in Nashville, parcels of Nashville into surrounding districts and make all of those districts Republican. So this was a safely Republican. We've been telling you, Trump won it by 22 points. Certainly looked in 2022 and 2024 like that was a fine strategy politically for Republicans. They had no trouble controlling the district. But now, in a potentially changed political climate, with Trump back in the White House, with all of the sort of political externalities we've been talking about, we're looking at a special election here. I don't know exactly how this is going to go, but as I'm looking at it right now, Republicans at the very least have had to sweat this one.
Completed county, Decatur.
Yes. Hold on. Say it again.
It should be near complete.
What county?
With Decatur.
Decatur. Okay.
Yeah.
We got all the vote, folks, in Decatur. Again, small, very Republican. Okay. It says 95%. This may be it. This is close to it. This may be it. Again, very small, less than 2,500 votes here, but let's compare it. We've got our first full county where we can compare 2024 results. Donald Trump won this by 69 points last year, and tonight that is a 60-point margin. So that is a net shift in the only completed county that we have of 9 points. 9 points away from the Republicans, 9 points towards the Democrats. Again, district-wide, the Democrats need that number to be 22 points. So again, that is an encouraging sign for Van Epps. Certainly, the numbers that we've been seeing in these other rural counties suggest you might see something similar in all of these counties right here. So that is a very encouraging sign for Van Epps. That said, he also needs to see similar, maybe not as dramatic, but he needs to see some similar strides when the same day vote comes in, where there's a lot more voters and there's a lot more Democratic voters. He needs to see it in this portion of the district too, because a 9-point shift in the Democrats' direction right here may sound underwhelming, and it may prove to be very underwhelming here. But we showed you that in the
That's the whole point, what you all don't get. We're not looking for her to win. We're looking for her to close the gap between 22-point win down to 0. So if she wins anything 22, or she wins anything close to single digits, it is a wave, a blue wave that is going to overtake this whole map. That's the point. We're not looking for her to win. We're looking for her to close the gap to single digits. That's what we're hoping she does.
The early vote, Democrats were outperforming by 32 points in Davidson County. I don't know what I just did there. Democrats were outperforming by 32 points in Davidson County. If they were ever to continue at anything like that level, 32 point overperformance in Davidson County, that would more than wipe out what just happened in the rural part of the district. So again, for Van Epps, that is an encouraging sign. It's an encouraging sign that while there was significant drop-off relative to 2024 in the rural portion of the district, and again, what are we talking about here? We're really kind of talking about this swath right here, the one completed county, and all of the same-day vote that we've seen so far there suggests that Van Epps is doing significantly better in the rural areas in the same-day vote than he did in the election day vote. But again, you're talking about this is
not anything significant. It's for Matt Van Epps to lose. It's a red state, like you goofy goofies love to tell us. You guys won blue states. You won with the blue in the blue states. Ain't that what y'all told us on November? Okay, so the red state should win with the red people. It's not a surprise. It ain't gonna be no big deal. The point is the margins. And I said that with the blue people too. I said it's gonna be the margins. Because if the margins are in single digits, oh yeah, there's a problem in Tennessee. If she loses by single digits, it's going to be a problem in Tennessee. We're not worried about whether she wins. We want to see what the margins is, which is what I said in the blue wins. What was the margin that the Democrat overperformed. Let's see what the margin is when the Democrat overperforms here. That's what we're looking at. So stop saying, you lost, you win, you lost, you win. Goofy, we understand a red will win in a red. We understand that. We're talking about the margins.
It's a big area geographically. It's about 15% of all the votes that are going to be cast in his district. He needs to see something like that, something along those lines happening in this part of the district too, if he wants to get out of the woods and if he wants to build a big lead here. Meanwhile, the fact that he's doing that in the rural part of the district underscores for Behn and for the Democrats the importance of continuing. When we get same-day vote in Davidson County, Behn and the Democrats needed to continue to look something like this. Because if they're not getting the kinds of gains they need down here, they need bigger gains than they expected in a place like Davidson County, a place like Nashville. And again, it also underscores for them, we said this at the top of the night, the lone, I think, swing county in this district. Williamson might fall into that category, but the lone real, I think, swing county in this district tonight, right here in Montgomery County. And again, the same holds true with those rural areas, you know, with Van Epps doing a little bit better same day, doing significantly better same day than early. It underscores for Behn the need to be able to win here in Montgomery County. Or get very, very close to it. And again, she leads by 3 points. That is the early vote that you've seen tally there. Question is, what's that going to look like when the same day vote comes in? The other thing that I wanted to look at here, this is a good chance to do it. Again, in last year's presidential election in this district, more votes came out of Montgomery County than any other county. The second biggest share of votes came out of Davidson County. What does it look like in the early vote? Well, okay, you can do the math here. That's a little bit less than 20,000 votes between Behn, 9,700, Van Epps, 9,100. You know, you're looking at a little bit less than 20,000 votes cast so far in Montgomery County. And then in Davidson County, you're looking at more than 20,000. You're looking at more than 21,000 votes, just about 21,000 votes, I should say. There's some third-party candidates here that might. It's about 21,000. So it's about 19,000 versus 21,000. So at least in the early vote, now, unlike 2024, we have higher turnout in Davidson County, the core Democratic area of this district, than we see in Clarksville, it's sort of the swing part of the district. So that's, again, that's, we said that one thing Democrats wanted to see, among others, was the highest turnout coming out of Davidson County in the
Behn is that most of their votes. Okay, not all of them, but most of them have. And you're still within a good margin. Okay. You're winning Montgomery County, though that's probably going to flip Republican. You have a ton of election day votes that is going to come from Nashville. The question is that going to be offset by Williamson County? It should not be. Nashville and Davidson County is significantly higher. Okay. So that's the good news. The bad news is that the overall swing will probably go Republican from this point on because it is election day. And not in what I said earlier, I said that it's going to be, as a matter of fact, I think that I said it here on Blue Sky. Okay. I said, looking at Tennessee's 7th primary, just over half of Republican primary voters voted on election day. As for Democrats, the number was only a little less at 47.6 of election day voters. Republicans are not poised to get a bump, yes, but not a huge bump.
What do you mean I'm optimistic about the Democratic Party, Black America? What do you mean? I'm not optimistic about anything. This Republican Party, radical party, has shitty policies for regular, everyday, average American. I don't have to be optimistic about this at all. I said, I hope she wins. I said, if she gets into single digits, it's still a loss for the Republicans. Y'all don't understand math. The Republicans won this by 22 points. If she loses by single digits, that means she closed the gap which means you're in for blue wave. I don't understand why I got to keep explaining that. We don't think she's going to win. We hope she gets into single digits. That's the problem. That's your problem, Tracy Cornwell. You can't name a Republican policy. We can name Democratic policies. You can't name any Republican policies that help people between the salaries of $30,000 and $150,000. You can't name one that the Republicans help people that are poor. You can't name one. Not one. We want to see one. Put it in the chat.
And that's it. A medium-sized county. This one will go more towards Van Epps. Davidson County, huge county. Nashville, nothing in. 57 precincts. And you know what? Let's go ahead. We're looking at 57 precincts that are very, very, very blue. Okay, we're looking at all these here. Have not come in yet. Decatur County, finished. No more damage can be done there. Dixon County, more Republican county, will help Van Epps in the end. Hickman County, same thing. Only 4 of 14. Van Epps there. Houston County is the second smallest county. We're almost done counting there. Humphreys County, probably a mid-sized county here in the district. Haven't counted precincts yet. Montgomery County, this is it here. Turnout in Davidson and Montgomery County. If she keeps the margins down in Montgomery, it could be really close. Perry County, finish, done. Robertson County still has to come in. That's going to help Van Epps. Stewart County, I'm surprised Stewart County has not had more. Stewart County is, let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, like the 9th largest county. Nothing there. Right. Wayne County, one of the smaller counties, almost finishing. Williamson County hasn't finished yet. Okay, so now it's just because this is the problem with, actually, let's look at the Jersey City mayor's race. McGreevy lost. Okay.
Who is McGreevy? Let's see who the hell is he talking about? McGreevy. Let me see who that is.
Yeah, we just do not know
who is McGreevy.
What's happening in election day voting. Because the question is, once Davidson comes in, because there's no precincts there, right? Let me check something really quick. In 2024, only about 20% of Davidson County's votes was election day voting. So even though we have all these precincts, they might not be as big as you think. This is definitely looking more toward Van Epps having the slight advantage. Okay. You got to remember, this is a plus 10 Republican district. I mean, it's to come this close to it is impressive nonetheless.
Yeah.
Nope. People are going to start with, if we picked a moderate, we would have won. Nope. You wouldn't have. You think that a moderate Democrat would have won in rural Tennessee? No. Again, I live in rural America. They think all Democrats are communist. Okay. It doesn't matter. You have a D next to your name, they won't like you. And unfortunately, that
all Republicans, all Democrats are communists. He even admit that the Republicans are goofy, and they admit that.
That's going to be the talk. If you had a moderate, that's it. Yep. If you have a candidate that stands for nothing, you can win. That doesn't work nowadays. Didn't we try that with Hillary?
That gaslighting don't work with me. First name, last name. The gaslighting don't work. The gaslighting don't work. We understand a red district. We understand a red district. People have always said it mattered whether she won or not. It matters. And it also matters if she closes the gap. Don't worry about what we doing over here, first name, last name. Worry about your shitty ass president. That's what you worry about.
Hillary Clinton in 2016, how well did that work out? Because I know that stupid, we're going to have a moderate talk is going to be there based on nothing. Based on nothing.
Right.
Because people don't understand rural voters here. Trust me, I live in rural Southern Illinois. Okay. People want to hear about having improved healthcare, having social safety nets, stuff like that.
No, they don't. They don't care about that. These MAGA people say you only want handouts. Y'all don't care about no safety net. I don't know why this white Republican dude telling us about the fact that they care about the safety net. No, sir. No, these MAGA people in the chat keep telling us that y'all don't care about healthcare. Y'all don't care about safety nets. That's what they keep saying. They keep saying that's all y'all want is handouts. You need to say it again, sir. You need to say it again for the goofies in the chat.
Because people don't understand rural voters here. Trust me, I live in rural Southern Illinois. Okay. People want to hear about having improved healthcare, having social safety nets, stuff like that.
No, they don't.
Turn away from them.
They care about tax cuts for the rich. No, they don't. They don't care about that. They care about what Donald Trump care about. Voting against their own self-interest. That's what they do.
Democrats is because Democrats focus on social issues that are not in line with their values. Okay. So yeah, go ahead and bring in the fight song Hillary Clinton thing and you'll lose rural America by even more.
Right.
Oh no, that ain't it. Whoa, some big number just came in. So that went down big time. At 52 to 47, that seems really odd. Like that seemed weird. That he just gained all of a sudden 5,000 votes and he gained 5,000 votes and she gained like 100 or a few hundred. Must have been a bunch of precincts in Dixon. That seemed weird. Okay, some Williamson County precincts are coming in now.
Oh, okay. Those are Republicans.
Okay.
Okay.
See, now you can see this is getting 59 to 40. We're starting to get Williamson County in. You can see it was 65 before. Yeah. I think
that's exactly what people don't care about, first name, last name. People are tired of people talking about men and women's bathrooms. Fake money for vote. No, people care about food prices, gas prices. And you all trying to gaslight us saying that the food and the gas prices are down. You're just lying to yourselves because nobody believes you guys. They care about food, gas prices, and X, Y, and Z. Every time we turn around, that's all those MAGA people come out with. Oh my God, we got men in the bathroom, y'all. The Democrats want men in your bathroom. Oh my God.
Right. better sense of what that same day vote is. Van Epps is winning the same day vote by 23 points. So it's not just a small difference between the same day and the early. It's a big difference. It's a big Republican-friendly difference here. So again, take a look. 2/3 of the vote in Montgomery County. We called it the swing county in this district at the outset. Let's compare it to what happened in 2024. This was a Trump by 18 points county. Now tonight, with more votes coming in, and we just
we understand.
very Republican with those votes coming in same day in Montgomery.
We understand that he's going to win. We want to see what the margin is, though. This is a deep red state. The deep red state. You have a deep red state. Of course, he's going to win. We want to see what the margin is. Is the margin going to be good enough, or is it going to be bad? More than likely he's going to win, but not. He probably will win because the counties haven't come in. But we want to see what the margin is.
County already developing here about that same day vote, the vote that was cast today in person, being very Republican. Republicans were saying they thought they maybe woke their base up in the last couple of days. Numbers like this suggest they very well may have. Let's look at the district-wide vote, 8,100. Adam, what we got?
We have a few more completed counties, Wayne and Benton.
Okay, so now we've got, again, we're going into sort of this is a partial county here, west of the Tennessee River, small, very Republican, very rural, but let's get on the record with it. Donald Trump won this by 65 points last year. We've got all the vote in, we think, in Benton County here. Right. That is a 56-point margin for Matt Van Epps over Aftyn Behn. That is a net shift there, away from the Republicans towards the Democrats of 9 points. Remember, rule of thumb, we've been looking at how close is this to a 22-point shift. That's what Democrats need to win it. That would be disaster for Republicans. The closer you get to over to 22 or over, it is 9. That's the shift in Benton County, a 9-point shift. Did you say, Adam, we got full results in another county?
Wayne.
We got Wayne County, Alabama border. I think they were the first to report out results earlier. Again, very small, very rural, very Republican, but Trump won this by 77 points in 2024. What are we looking at? That's 70 on the dot, the margin for Van Epps over Behn. Shift away from the Democrats towards the Republicans in Wayne County of 7 points. Target for the Democrats, disaster for the Republicans would be 22. We are a long way, you can see there, from 22 points. Van Epps holds it to only a 7-point decline net in Wayne County. Again, you just see this pattern here, this same day vote. Not maybe a big surprise.
We already said he's going to win. 9 times out of 10, he's going to win. We just want to know what the margins are. And a red state winning a red state means nothing. We just want to see what the margins are. That's all. We got to see what the margins are.
Surprise in these small rural Republican counties, but certainly in Williamson County and certainly up here in Montgomery County, that's been the story as Van Epps builds this lead now to 8,500 votes. 2/3 basically in district wide here. That's a margin now sitting at basically 8 points. And I want to check, Adam, scream if anything comes in. I'll leave this up, make sure everybody can see it, because we've been saying how important that Davidson vote is. I want to know how much vote is even left in Davidson County. What do we think is left in Davidson?
Wait a minute.
I am checking here. Estimated remaining vote in Davidson. Okay. This is
9 times out of 10, you won. Let's see. What is it?
We have 110,000 voters who voted in this. We have a ton of data from this. How do the Democrats look at the data and try to figure out how to figure out the vote intentions of people using this data and then put this into the Tennessee 5th congressional district? Okay. This is why I think the Democrats really suck. I think Democrats suck at data. I think they suck when it comes to trying to understand voting intentions using non-attitudinal data, using spatial data like we have, using geographical data. I think.
See, I would have to wonder, why did the Republicans feel the need to come all the way to Tennessee and do telecalls and teleconferences and all that kind of shit? I would need to know why they did. No, that's Walter. See, this is where we get it from, guys. We get the MAGA syndrome bullshit. All we heard on November 24th was, Democrats won in a blue state. Blue won in a blue state. Now we get to the red state. It ain't about winning in the red state now. It ain't the same thing. It's something different. A red person winning in a red state ain't a surprise. Okay? But when we won our blue in the blue state, oh no, it ain't no surprise. Y'all won it. It ain't no big deal. It ain't no big deal for you red to win in a red state neither, goofies. We're looking at the margins. That's all. We're looking at the margins, goofies.
How to do that. I mean, I back in the days, I used to look at numbers done by, so-called big Democratic consultants, and they were a friggin' joke. I mean, they were like really elementary school type of stuff. And I'm like, really? I could have a 10-year-old could do this on an Excel spreadsheet.
Dude, you got to get more.
I hope that the Democrats are able to glean something out of this.
You guys you ain't that exciting. You ain't that. Steve Kornacki got more going on than you do. And he's gay, if y'all didn't know.
Half the vote in here in Davidson County. We don't know how many votes exactly were cast same day. So this is a rough estimate, but it might be about 21,000 votes. So if you're looking at about 21,000 votes right here, okay, if Behn is winning it, let's say 81-20, okay, that would be about 17,000 to 400. Again, let me take you through what I just did in my head so it's clear to everybody. Behn is leading the early vote 85-14 here in Davidson County. It's pretty clear Republicans are doing a little bit better with the same day than with the early. Now, it's an extremely Democratic county. I don't think Republicans are going to do that much better. So let's say the remaining vote is 80-20 Democratic. Let's say there's about 21,000 votes left in this very Democratic part of the district. What would that translate into? That would be about 17,000 new votes for Behn. That would be about 4,000 new votes for Van Epps. In other words, that would be a margin of about 13,000 votes for Behn. Again, these are big ifs, back of the envelope, all this stuff. But just keep in mind, if we say she is going to net an additional 13,000 votes out of Davidson County, what would that do to the deficit she now faces district-wide? Well, there you go. She trails by 8,700 district-wide. If we now dumped in a 13,000 vote plurality for her in Davidson County, she would vault into the lead district-wide by 4,300 votes. Then what would be left? What would be left outside of Davidson County? I'm going to look right here, and I'm going to tell you. We still think, give or take here, this is the most significant, I would say. Yeah, Robertson County, the biggest outstanding source, I think, of overwhelmingly Republican county left. The biggest outstanding source right now, we think a very Republican would be right here in Robertson County, right? Robertson County, which is running.
I mean, he's projected to win. Of course he's going to win. This is a red state. A red state is going to win. We want to see what the margins are. We want to see by how much. If the gap is closed with the 22 single digits, it's still crazy. Either way it go, he's going to win. But we're just looking for this margin. And a red state winning a red state means nothing. A red person winning a red thing means nothing. Okay? The midterms is the most important thing. This is a special election, of course. But I'm saying the Republicans that showed up, the president and the House Speaker showed up in that town, in that county, in Tennessee, because they were afraid that they were going to lose, which tells us something, which tells you something. you're not as confident as you think you are about your policies. And poor people still voting against their best interest. We do know that.
69-29 for Van Epps. Give or take, rough back of the envelope calculation here, 7,000 votes remaining in Robertson County. I mean, if Van Epps just wins those 5,000 to 2,000, I think that's a conservative estimate, he nets 3,000 votes. And if he nets 3,000 votes there, we just told you, if Behn were to get what we said out of Nashville and pull ahead by 4,300, with what's left in Robertson County, Van Epps could probably knock this thing down to 1,300. What would be left after that? You'd still be looking at probably more than 10,000 votes in Montgomery County, Clarksville, where we see Van Epps running up the score so far in the same day vote. And there still remains, there's not much of it left, but I'll just, there still remains probably about 2,000 votes, give or take, in Dixon County right here. There probably remains, in Cheatham County, it's probably about 3,000 votes left. These are all, they're Republican to start with. And what they're tabulating right now is the election day vote, the same day vote. So what's coming in is not just Republican, it's like super Republican, it's extra Republican. So long way of saying, take a look at this, 65% here. Now we got another update in to pad that Van Epps lead a little bit. I think at this point, obviously you're a Republican, you are feeling great right now. If you're a Democrat, you're probably right now thinking about how can you maybe phrase this as a moral victory. But the reason we're waiting here still on Nashville, I'm sorry, what did we just get?
Davidson.
Okay. This is not all of it though, right?
We got 6,000 votes in Davidson and we just got 3,000 in Montgomery.
Okay. We got some of the remaining vote in Davidson. They didn't do this all in one batch. So take a look here. 2/3 of the vote is in it. Remember, the early vote was 50%. When we got the early vote in Davidson County, that took you to half the vote in. We now have 64% in. So what just came in Davidson County was a batch there of that, about 30% of the same day vote. Here's the key question. What was the early vote in Davidson? 84-14?
In Davidson, it was 85-15.
Okay, it was a 70-point margin for Behn in the early. What is it now in the same day?
72-27.
45. So that is a discouraging sign if you're a Democrat. That's a very encouraging sign if you're a Republican, because we were just going through some math scenarios here about, could Behn get a massive number out of Davidson to put her ahead district-wide and then absorb all of the sort of Republican success in the rest of the district. I was basing that on the same day vote in Davidson theoretically breaking 80-20 for Behn. What we're seeing right now, at least, is not 80-20, it's 72-27. So the plurality I was kind of playing around with just to see how the numbers might work. Right now, with the same day vote, Behn would get less than what I just took you through right there. So again, she needs, she would just basically at this point need there to be a lot more votes overall in Davidson County than we are estimating, because she's still winning it by a big margin. But look, even with that, that's a big chunk of the same day. She's still down 7,400 district-wide. In fact, we could play it out based on that. Why am I sitting here talking in generalities when we can give you an actual number here? With that update from Davidson County, right? Okay, so we think probably about 15,000. About 15,000 votes left in Davidson County. Let's say it's 15,000. Okay, we just said 72-27. Let's get the old calculator out here. 72-27. Let's say it remains 72-27 for 15,000 votes. That would be an additional 10,800 for Behn. 27 times 15,000. That'd be an additional 4,050 for Van Epps. What is that? That's a difference of 6,800 votes. It's about a 6,700. Yeah, she would net about 6,800 new votes if that's what we see for the rest of Davidson County. About 6,700 more votes. And right now, district-wide, Behn trails by 8,000. So it's just, frankly, it's very hard to see If you're trying to sketch a scenario here for Behn, I think now we may be moving to that phase where Democrats are thinking about, can they try to sell this as a moral victory? Can they say, look, they made a massive gain here in a Republican plus 22 district? I think we may be getting to the point where Republicans try to say this was a solid victory for Van Epps that kind of maybe cools the sense that that political crisis was enveloping the party. You can see right now that the margin is 6 points, about 6.5 points district-wide for Van Epps. I think we just showed you that with what's left in Davidson, Behn could take a chunk of that out, but there's still going to be, outside of Davidson County, I'm just quickly counting up 20, 25, 29, 30, 33. I'm going to say, give or take, there's still going to be about 33,000 votes to come district-wide outside of that. So 33,000 votes additionally outside of Davidson County. There's going to be, probably about 33,000 votes from the rest of the district. Van Epps is cleaning up. He's cleaning up in that same day vote. So if this isn't just Republican, if this is super Republican vote, Van Epps may have an opportunity here to pad this margin. It's going to take a dent. Whenever the rest of Davidson comes in, this margin is going to take a dent for him. Now, we just got what just came in, Adam?
We just got some Humphreys.
Okay. Humphreys County, small, rural Republican just came in, pads the Van Epps margin a little bit right there. Was there a little bit more?
We got 1,000 votes in Robertson a few minutes ago.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you can, to complete the thought, you could see Van Epps opening this up a little bit. Again.
So what, it's an 8-point lead or is less than an 8-point lead?
The only place right now left on the map where Democrats are going to be able to cut into this, probably is right there in Davidson County. And we just showed you what we think is probably roughly left to come in Davidson County. Hard to see that being enough to erase this. Or it still looks like it's going to bring Behn a few thousand votes short. And then, she could suffer some more serious slippage in the rest of this district. So I'm really interested right now to see where the final margin in this thing is going to land.
So what's that margin right there?
One thing I want to know kind of overall.
It looks like it's 7.
I'm going to go into my computer right now. What is the same day?
8.8. Yeah, for 5 seconds. About 6 points. It looks like the margin is 6 points. That's wild that she got within 6 points. If that's the margin, oh hell no.
Vote over.
Let me check out let me check out my boys, what they talking about. He probably won, but what's the margins gonna look like? These dudes would know. Let's see. Let me see. Come on, dudes. Tell us what the margin is. What's going on?
Re-election, if I'm not mistaken.
And Bill farther back, Travis Childers won a red seat in Mississippi that was sort of the end of George W. Bush's presidency. And then there was a weird one in 2010 in Hawaii, which
I remember that one.
Charles
Yeah, but that was sort of an accident because
it was a setup where every party could have multiple candidates. Like there wasn't a nomination process. And so Charles Jew ended up winning with about 40% of the vote. The two top Democratic candidates finished second and third, but they had about 59%. So if there had been one major Democrat, he probably loses. But hey, they couldn't coordinate. So
look, I could look at your list, and I'm always hesitant that
Cooper.
Where we at? Oh, okay. So the decision is out of there. The decision would be out of there almost. Maybe the coverage is there. Okay. Let me look at my other guy. Hold on. Did he come to the same conclusion? He knows he's from that place. Oh, okay. He knows from the place. He's born and raised there, so he should be able to tell you.
We're going to have 5. We're slated to have 5 rural hospitals here close. And the people in this district don't even know that they're going to probably close. They don't even know why they're going to close. And people think, oh, if you do stuff on Facebook and protest in front of congressmen's offices, that no. If you got a MAGA congressman, he's not going to take your calls. He's just going to hang up on you, say, have a nice day, whatever. You need to have billboards out there. Driving up I-57 here in Southern Illinois says Mike Bost is closing this hospital. Vote against him. You need to have signs. And I've been thinking about starting a political action committee for the 12th congressional district here, where we would buy 10,000 signs, put them up all over the district, and say, Mike Boss is closing your hospital. Save like Franklin Hospital, save Olney Hospital, save all these hospitals, and just putting the signs throughout the district to make people realize, wait, is Mike Boss trying to close my hospital? Because that's the only way you're going to make them think. If you think you're going to get them into the Fox News bubble and all that, no.
They don't care. The Republicans don't care. They don't care whether you're going to lose your medical or not. They don't care about that. I don't even know why he having a discussion about that. They don't care about you losing your medical. They care about the money that they gonna make. That's all they care about. Don't worry about nobody's medical. Y'all just gonna kick the bucket in these rural counties. Vote against their own interests. Where you at, Steve Kornacki?
We just got Davidson, didn't we, Adam?
Oh shit! It's a 4%.
Yeah, okay. So I'll finish the thought. I know we're a bit all over the place here, but we told you all results. We just got most now of the results in from Davidson County. Only a small scattering left there in Davidson County. That might be absentee vote. That might be vote by mail. So you can see here the margin for Behn is sitting, that's 80 to 19. That's a 62-point margin for Behn right now. We'll see how that comes in with this final scattering of votes. That's a big number. That's a big number. This was a 38-point district in 2024. Harris won it by 38. You're looking at 62 right now. That's a net improvement for Behn.
You all make sure you're hitting the like, share, and subscribe button, guys. We come out with this kind of content every day. We do the elections. We do the Senate, the House. We do special, stuff like what the Pentagon did, a press conference today. We do all kinds of things every day. Please hit the like, share, and subscribe button, of course. We appreciate it. Like, share, and subscribe. We appreciate it.
Of 24 points, and we were saying all night, Democrats have that target of 22. Well, they're going to exceed it in Davidson County, but frankly, again, this being the most Democratic part of the county, to only get barely over 22 there, they needed more. Believe it or not, you're looking at numbers like that, and they needed more. And if they weren't going to get more there, they needed more elsewhere in the district.
I'm good on you too, River.
And I think the biggest disappointments for Democrats on the map tonight, right here, the suburbs, Williamson County, the votes continue to come in. It's getting more and more Republican as those votes come in. Also up here in Montgomery County, where Clarksville is, again, we still got a quarter of the vote to come here. That same day vote is favoring Van Epps. We said at the start of the night, this is one Democrats to have a shot wanted to win. And then just in the same day turnout, the election day turnout, Behn getting swamped by Van Epps in the rural parts of this district. So what's this going to all add up to? Well, now that we've basically got Nashville in, you can see it's still a little bit more than a 4-point margin district-wide for Behn. Outside of that scattering of votes still to come in Nashville, everything else that's going to come in, the final quarter of the vote here, I think you can expect is going to be a pretty Republican vote. So I think this is kind of as close as it's going to get for the rest of the night, unless in the next 30 seconds they suddenly give us that final scattering from Davidson. But this margin is going to grow. Are we looking at a race that ends? This is Montgomery, excuse me. There you go. This margin is going to grow as the rest of the results come in tonight. Is it going to be 8 points, 9 points? Could it get to 10 points? I think there's a sort of a psychological question there. Republicans would love to get this to double digits, say it's double digits. But what I was saying there a second ago before we kind of got diverted by Davidson was, I guess there's two ways of looking at this. I think there's that sort of big picture global way of looking at it, that this is how Democrats want to talk about it. They're going to look at this and they're going to say Donald Trump won it by 22. Let's say it were to end at 8 points tonight. Behn brings it down to single digits, gets a 14-point net improvement in a deeply Republican area. That spells trouble. Typically, that's the kind of a special election movement away from the president's party that has spelled trouble in midterm elections before. So they will say, well, it's not a win for Behn. While it wasn't necessarily a squeaker, it was double-digit improvement in a very Republican district relative to 2024. And I think likely it's going to end somewhere in that. That's probably going to be true. Again, we'll see where the final margin lands, but I think that's probably going to be true. And again, we got 83%, I should say 83% in right now. I'm just looking at this and registering it to myself. The other way of looking at it, and what I was saying a bit in that hit too, though, is that we've seen gains for Democrats in other special elections this year We saw a 22-point gain for them in Florida. We saw, a 16-point gain. I think in 2 districts we saw a 16-point net gain for them. And we saw a poll last week that put this race at only 2 points. And I mean, I think there was talk that I think everybody in both parties acknowledged it was a long shot. It was a long shot that Behn would actually win this. But I think there was a thought that this thing was going to get, seriously turned into a squeaker. Behn may have a chance there, an outside chance to win it. And what I'm seeing in the same day vote here is I think we saw higher same day turnout maybe than we were expecting. And I think we saw that same day turnout more Republican, especially in places like Williamson County, than we were expecting as well. And so one thing that I'm thinking about there is, is there a story there for Republicans as well that they may take away from this about how to wake up their base? How to maybe win over some swing voters. They thought that Behn as a candidate was a very ripe target, and they're going to try to, a lot of the attacks they made against Behn are attacks they want to make against the National Democratic Party, and they want to use in districts around the country next year. So, did they see in this final week, wake up, look at a close race, maybe a depressed Republican base? Did they succeed in waking up that base, maybe turning some swing voters against Behn? And again, they would love to get this final margin up closer to 10 points and be able to say, hey, look, once they got voters to focus, they got some traction here. So I think that's the story Republicans would like to tell, seeing where this final vote, where this final tally lands. Again, I think that 10-point thing looms, is sort of, again, psychological, but, it could be significant here. It's a 5-point margin right now, 85% in, a margin there of about 7,200 votes. Just taking a look right here at what is left to come. Anyway,
nope. Basically, what he's saying is it's going to be less than a 10-point lead, so it's going to be a single-digit win for the red candidate in a red state. Okay, so we got that. But she still killed it at 10 points. She shaved 12 points off. 12 points off, which basically means it's a bad time. It's still going to be a bad time. We just got to figure out how bad of a time it's going to be for the Republican Party. Because y'all still got shitty goddamn policies. It is what it is.
When I start saying it probably means it's about time to wrap this up. So
that's
folks who stayed through this, who joined us, who were part of this.
I said a win is a win. River Hippie. I said a win is a win. A red state wins a red state. That's exactly what y'all said to us when we won in the blue states. So a red state is a red state. And she shaved off 12 points. And she shaved off 12 points. So it is what it is. Hey, let's see what they got to say. This last little dude got to say. Get on in there. You ain't saying nothing?
Computer Geeks R Us thinks Fox is trying to keep up some drama.
The most important thing is that she got it down to single digits. Like we said, get it down to single digits and we got something to talk about. Yeah.
M. Dawn thinks Van Epps needs to campaign more. Just received a flyer in mail. Never heard of him holding town halls or rallies or anything. I wasn't keeping up with.
Please help
me. Yeah,
make
we
sense
weren't
of
keeping.
This. I'm going to try to keep my composure and not curse. Please help me understand. So, you're okay with your tax dollars going to a foreign country so that their citizens, all of their citizens, every single one, has free healthcare, free housing, free education, monthly payments to support their children. Their children get monthly payments from the government into a savings account. But what you do have a problem with is our own American citizens going hungry because you don't want your tax dollars going to people who can't afford food. Food. And healthcare. So we're going to have people hungry and dying in our country. So American. So American. But you're okay with sending money to a foreign country so that their citizens can live the life. You're okay with that. I don't hear you talking about that, though. Because I think that that's just the hatred in your heart speaking. Because logically, that makes no fucking sense. It's stupid. It's fucking dumb for you to even think that way. And to be honest with you, I think your breath stinks. Because all you do is talk shit out of your mouth all fucking day. Oh. All day. That's all you do. And you sound ridiculous.
You sound crazy. You sound crazy as hell, River Hippie. You sound crazy as hell when your president is sending money over to Israel, Egypt, and freaking Argentina. You sound crazy as hell. Y'all be sounding goofy as hell when y'all be talking. For real. Waltz sending billions of dollars overseas. Are you nuts? When the hell did that happen?
Right? There's just something about a number being at 51% that makes you say, wow, that was close. I'll look and see. I don't believe that none of the local news channels are doing any live stream of none of the local Nashville news channels are doing any live streams of the election. That kind of surprises me. Yeah, because I would have liked to have heard what she said. Yeah, so I mean, him winning is not a surprise. I don't think. But I still am at a point where I want to see how close this thing can get. Predicting the 2030 midterms. I mean, oh, will there even be 2026 midterms? So
that's how goofy he is.
Yeah, I mean, if you're the Democrats, this is a really good showing.
If you're the Democrats,
I just want to
really
see.
Good showing. I don't know why we would be a good showing. You tell us why, country boy. You tell us why it would be a good showing for the Republicans. Why? I mean,
but you know, here's another thing too, because it was a special election. And this goes back to what I was saying a few minutes ago about rural voters. Again, I live in rural America. Okay, I'm from the suburbs of Chicago originally. I've lived in cities, but I've lived in rural America too. My family's from rural Northeast Mississippi, Tishomingo County. It can't get more rural and southern than that. I mean, actually, Tishomingo County might be not far from where this is. So, like, this district goes all the way down to here, right here. So this is where this district goes to, the 7th Congressional District. My family is from right here.
Oh.
Okay. As a matter of fact, precinct where my family's from. Okay. Show you how my family is from Belmont, Mississippi. Okay. My dad's side of the family. As you can see, 93% voted for Donald Trump there. Okay. So in the counties around where I live, Franklin County, 75%, Washington County, 78%, Perry County, 75%, Williamson County, Illinois, 69%. I know rural Trump voters. I know them. I know what they look for. And I think one of the problems that the Democratic Party has is they're relying on a bunch of people who have maybe driven through rural America to help with rural American voters. That's not going to work. But let's see what happens here. Now it's getting close to 53. And I just want to see how close it can get. But let me see.
Damn,
I don't want to do the Fox News in
it's Taco Tuesday
Nashville, but it's like, hold on. See if they're doing a live stream of it. No. They're not doing a live stream. Oh, well. So live streams are probably going to be on the big networks, MSNBC, CNN, and
yeah, they should have had a bigger margin. It's okay. They should have had a bigger margin because Donald Trump won it with 22 points. She got it down to single digits, I guess. So now it's 12. We gotta look at the single. We gotta look at the final margins, I guess.
Crazy People Network. All right, let me go ahead and look at some of the chat that we have here, and yeah, for the rest of the
I mean, let's get our wire on. Okay, my boy. Let's see. What are they saying? Let's see.
I forgot
right.
this.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
right.
Yes. That got weird. Never mind.
Yeah, so I was scratching my head a
all
lot
that.
when she was running against Mark Green in the first place because I covered that campaign. You know, we wrote.
They're not there. Okay, I guess he's the only one. I guess he's the only one so far. So, saying his thoughts. Okay, we cool. Oh, they go my girl right there.
You. Hudson, Wisconsin, Durham, North Carolina, Conroe, Texas, Long Island, New York, San Francisco. What a great city. Nashville. Speaking of great cities, Tucson, Hillsborough, Oslo, Norway. There we go. Well, I guess we're just going to have to assume that the Facebook people are coming on or, somebody says Facebook is here. Excellent. And I'm seeing a lot of Tennessee people and like,
A lot of Tennessee. The voter turnout is way down, you say? Oh, wow. Okay.
district map. But districts such as Ogle's district at 57, you see that they've gerrymandered Tennessee so damn much. It's ridiculous. The one state to watch is North Carolina. So they gerrymandered the hell out of North Carolina, but they made a lot of 55-45 seats in North Carolina. That if you just have a 5% swing, it gets close, or the Democrats could be competitive in them. Okay.
Ooh,
so yeah.
Agrees.
All right. So I probably won't wait until the end. So let's look at, let's actually, I do want to go back. What did we have? 322,000 votes. So we had half of the turnout that we had in a regular presidential election year
Right. Okay.
in this district. 50% of 50% of a turnout of them, it's not bad. I don't think that's bad at all. But you can now see from this how you can see how it was the I-24 corridor right here where they really started to concentrate in. Let's go ahead and look and see if we have any more numbers from. So we have any more numbers from Davidson, 49.57. So yeah, I mean, this number will go down a little bit more, but see, he's increasing some. So when Davidson comes in, it might get into 52. I don't even know. So now you got to ask yourself, 45.1%. I think this was 38 even. Okay. So you're talking about a 7% increase for the Democrats. Okay. You take that. I think you take that. And this was deep red Tennessee. Now, again, with Aftyn Behn, what do you do with her? Do you make her a national figure? Do you make her a person to focus on Tennessee? Because I'll tell you the truth. As of right now, I mean, we could work to get Tennessee to become more Democratic, but I think it's kind of worthless right now. Okay. Tennessee is kind of a lost cause for the time being.
Right.
I think, and I guess the question is, whose side is she going to go on? Is she at the national level going to be a DNC darling, or is she going to be an Our Revolution, Bernie Sanders type of darling with that movement? I think Aftyn Behn is now going to have to pick or choose which side she's going to want to be on. I don't think she can't run for any. If she lost this congressional district, she's not going to win in a regular midterm. Okay. And in this map that I showed you right here of if there's just a 5% swing over to the Democrats compared to 2024, okay, I still have the district here, the 7th, as being strongly red. Right. So this is even with that district strongly red. The Democrats can do well in the midterm elections. But the question at this point is how do you use her? How do you make her an effective person? Okay. I don't know. I guess that's for the people to be to decide. Now, of course, the Republicans are going to say this was some major great victory, which it was it was a win. I mean, it was technically a win, but it wasn't. You're under 55%. Okay, you're under 55% in a plus 10 district. I mean, she obviously is a state representative. It'd be good for her to be obviously focusing on state politics because that's what she does. I hate to say this. I don't want to waste a talent like that on state politics in Tennessee. But she has no choice. The good thing about Aftyn Behn is she's in a very safe state house district in East Nashville. So therefore, if she wanted to take the national route and just stay as an elected member of the Tennessee House of Representatives, she can do that. She can still be a national figure. What's going to be interesting is to see how much money was fundraised by her campaign, and how much money she was able to bring in, how many volunteers she was able to bring in. Because at the end of the day, that's what matters. So, Behn can run for mayor of Nashville, yes. And I think we're coming to the point now where being a mayor is really starting to become a higher profile position. Okay, obviously Zoran Mamdani, but if you look at like Florida, Donna Deegan in Jacksonville, she's probably one of the highest profile, if not the highest profile Democrat in the state of Florida, which isn't saying much, but it's still true. And this is where Democrats need to focus on. The Democrats need to focus on these smaller, maybe nonpartisan races, okay, like Jacksonville mayor, Seattle mayor, Miami mayor, which is 1 week from now. We're going to be doing a live stream about the Miami election. Okay. So this is what the Democrats need to do. And this is where I actually think Ken Martin has done a pretty decent job, is by actually focusing on these lower races. Because much on Bill Clinton and Al Gore to win the presidency, they just totally forgot or just totally ignored legislative seats. Look at what happened in Florida. Florida flipped, okay, and it flipped big time, and then all these other southern states followed. Yeah, Eileen Higgins is
I want to take this time to welcome and thank the new mayor-elect of Jersey City. How you feeling, man? I just want to say a few words. Anytime you Jersey City, how you feeling? Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for this honor, and know that each and every day I'm going to work to put the residents of this city first. For those who know me know I'm not one for long speeches. I got a lot of people to thank. Because look at this room, just look around you. You don't beat a machine by yourself. You beat a machine with a movement. And that's what we did today. So the first thing I gotta do is I gotta thank every single one of you, every single one of you in this audience that worked your butts off for this campaign. By the end of this campaign, we knocked out, I'll make this number up, 350,000 doors in Jersey donors and volunteers, people working their butts off to deliver a better Jersey City, a more affordable Jersey City. And that was each and every one of you. So give it up for yourselves once more. I gotta give it up to the incredible members of Team Solomon who worked their butts off to deliver a better Jersey City for all. We had dozens of members, but I gotta single out a few. So first and foremost, everybody, give it up for the man with the best hair in New Jersey politics, the best mustache, but most importantly, the man who had a vision 4 years ago of how we can take down the machine and deliver a Jersey City for the people. Give it up for Stu Thomas! And now I gotta thank the person who basically for the last 9 months ran all of Wardy, because I was busy campaigning. My chief of staff, the woman who holds it all together, Crystal Mahiaski. Give it up. I want to thank someone who really brought our team together when we brought her on, our deputy campaign manager, Caitlin Gavin. Give it up for Caitlin. Caitlin took all of our council candidates on track, which was impressive. I gotta give it up for our finance director, Shannon McAllister. I gotta give it up for our field duo, Shannon, the new and the old. I gotta give it up for Ryan Yacko and Mark Badalato. Give it up for Ryan and Nick. And finally, the brains behind the Wardy operation, the one who knows every policy detail of Jersey City, Isaac Smith. And last but not least, the woman who organized more senior bingos than I can count. Our community outreach director, Grace Perez. All right. As you can see, that's a big team, but the most important people that made tonight possible are my family. So first, my mom is about to turn 81. Mom's right over here. And mom knocked on more doors than the folks who ran for office. I'm like, Mom, you don't need to knock on doors. And she's like, yes, I do. So, all right, give it up for Mom. She's right here. And then the loves of my life, our girls. Camila.
Anybody know anything about Jersey politics? Because I don't know anything about Jersey City politics. I mean, is this a decent enough seat? Do they got any kind of power, influence, anything?
Corinne and Noelle, I love you girls. I cannot wait to take you to school tomorrow because I miss doing that. And then the woman who has sacrificed so much to allow me to do this, who really has given my love to Jersey City, the love of my life, Gabrielle Ramos. And then our candidates, guys, incredible candidates. First, we had so many people step up to run for office in Jersey City. Thank you to each and every person who stepped up, put their name on the ballot. Give it up for every candidate that's out there. I want to acknowledge and thank the opponents in this race. So thank former Governor Jim McGreevey, our at-large candidates, Daniel Rivera, Meredith Burns, Tina Niles, and some of the ward candidates. Look, running for office is tough. Putting yourself out there is tough. And each and every person who does that deserves our honor and respect. So give it up for all the candidates who ran. I want to thank 3 team members who were so important in everything that we did. Lorena, Louisa, Dawn, Gianbalvo, and Veronica Kazua. Give it up for There we go, Dawn. Dawn. And Lorena and Veronica, thank you all so much. And I'm also so excited to be standing behind me, an extraordinary council-elect in Jersey City. Fighters for the people. Fighters who will deliver for Jersey City. We had two people who didn't need a runoff. Elena Little and Frank Gilmore. Give it up for Elena and Frank. And then before I get to the other ones,
this is Jersey City, Jersey City race. I'm saying, it's not as important as New York, but is it good? Is this very important? It's a very important race. I don't know Jersey City, so I don't know. This is Jersey. He won. He beat out the incumbent. This is a new Democratic guy.
I just also want to acknowledge we got so many elected officials up here.
I'm assuming he's Democratic. I don't know. He could be Republican. Either way, he's a winner.
Here who helped us, but I may forget some, but I just want to acknowledge we got our county registrar Jeff Dublin, we got our state senator Andrew McKnight, Assemblyperson-elect Robbie Bala, Flash Gordon, candidate for mayor, Assemblywoman-elect Katie Brennan, Commissioner Joanna Afonso Lipsky, I'm not here for County Clerk Junior Maldonado. Thank you to all the elected officials who supported Team Solomon. But then we had a big night tonight on the council. Big night. And so I want to acknowledge the incredible team that worked their butts off and are going to be your next council members. It's exciting when you sweep it. You can just list them all one by one. So first, coming back to the council of Ward A, Councilwoman Denise Ridley! Representing West Side is West Side. Give it up for Joel Brooks!
You sound goofy, Robert Turner. You sound goofy as hell. Y'all be sounding weird as hell. I wonder, do y'all function? I be trying to figure out, do y'all function? Because when y'all hear the word Democrat, y'all lose y'all mind. Do y'all be functioning outside of this? Because I don't understand how you just jump in the chat and call somebody a fascist social. Nobody is doing fascist anything except your president. Your president with his radical agenda that people keep rejecting all over the country is the fascist. Nobody else is doing fascist. Well, I don't even want to say that. Let's not even say that. It's your president. Your president.
For the heart of Jersey City, for Journal Square, we got Ward C. Tom Cooper! This is in Ward C, by the way, so you guys know. And representing the height, the man with the second best hair in politics, Jake Epps.
You can tell that they haven't done any kind of research. They would know that the agenda that Trump is putting forward is a fascist agenda. You know that they don't know. You tell they don't know any kind of. They ain't did no kind of reading. Otherwise, they would know that what he's doing is textbook fascism. But they don't know that because they don't read. Why do you think people was calling him a fascist? Because he's doing fascist things. But then Robert Turner wouldn't know that because he came in the chat crashing out. Didn't nobody say anything to him. And he like, how do you function outside of here? I don't understand. Do some research. Trump is acting just like a standard fascist. I'm a Nazi. I'm a black Nazi, y'all. That's crazy. That's wild. You call me a Nazi? That's wild.
And now, making history as the first Indian American elected to our city council, Alrighty. A man who has had the heart of Jersey City, walking up and down Monticello Avenue, who's been a councilman before he was a councilman, a man who's going to serve, who's Michael Too Tall Griffin!
Oh, you got to learn how to tie your shoes, walk, talk, and chew gum, Robert Turner. I think there's an issue with you. I'm a racist. Racist. I ain't said nothing about race, for one. But I'm a racist. Fascist. I haven't said anything about economics or doing whatever it is that fascists do. Two, never said anything about being a socialist. Never expressed anything beyond what you hear. Just goofy, crashing out. You take medication and you eat grass.
And then coming back to the counselor, the fighter Jersey City needs for an affordable city, Rolando LaForda! I am committed to a Jersey City government that you can trust, that will be scandal-free, and that will fight corruption everywhere we find it. And I know, one of the things that was so heartbreaking when I was on the trail and I'd knock on the door and I'd speak to a mother or a father, and they would say, I need more for the young people of my city. How can I not have something for my 16 or 17-year-old to do? That changes when this team is in office. We're going to deliver for the young people of the city. We're going to deliver 1,000 summer jobs, a rec center, and we're going to put the educational into the city. I had to do that. And last but not least, and girls cover your ears, we're gonna get shit done. Because it's not enough to say the right things. We've seen this across this country. We must deliver real progressive government that delivers results each and every day. And that is what we're gonna hold ourselves to. And here's the thing, we're not gonna just hold ourselves. What I'm asking for you tonight is not your ongoing support or fealty. What I'm asking for you, most importantly, is to hold us accountable. Hold us accountable to deliver on the promises that we've made. Hold us accountable to make Jersey City more affordable. Hold us accountable to deliver a Jersey City government as good as its people. And I invite everyone, if you voted in the general for another candidate, if you voted in the runoff for another candidate, if you sat it out in the runoff because you didn't think that either one of us could deliver, I invite you to join with us. I'm going to, with not words, but with actions, work every day to earn your trust, earn your support, because I never take a vote for granted. I never take support for granted. You earn support, you do not demand it. And everybody on this stage knows that, and that is going to be the motto. We earn support, and we think we earn your support today, but we got to earn it every single day for the next 4 years. Now, occasionally a couple people would say, do you really want to do this? And I acknowledge I have a few screws loose. Although I do say the greatest compliment I ever received was someone pulling me aside and saying, for someone in New Jersey politics, you seem somewhat normal. Greatest compliment. But I wouldn't have run if I didn't believe the challenges the city face are solvable. And they're solvable with the team that you see here. I believe in a brighter future for this city. I believe in an affordable Jersey City. I believe in a city government that makes you proud. And I believe in a city government that works for the benefit of the people each and every day. And so my pledge to you is this. My pledge to you is this. I will always fight and stand up for the people of Jersey City. Always. Together, we are going to make this city more affordable. We are going to make it better for you to raise a family. We are going to make it safer, and we are going to make it easier to live in. Because Jersey City, an affordable Jersey City, starts now. This campaign, at the end of this day, what made this campaign successful at this crew org was we believed in what we could do, not what we couldn't do. And each and every day we were out there talking about what we could deliver for the people of Jersey City, and that is going to be how we govern for you. So Jersey City, from the bottom of my heart, thank you, thank you, thank you. I can't wait to get to work on behalf of all of you. Thank you guys so much.
All right. There's our election day coverage. We got what is it? Aftyn Behn loses by apparently right now single digits. Losing by single digits, as far as we know. Could be double digits. Hoping it's a single digit. Knew she was gonna lose in a red by red state. Red runs red. It is what it is. It is what it is. It's only when it flips that it's more interesting. We hoped it would get interesting. It didn't get interesting, except she's in the single digits, which is a hurricane by itself. It is what it is, and we got the new guy to win in Jersey City over the incumbent. Okay. Unfortunately, we got to deal with this president more than we want to, because their policies are trash. Their congressmen and senators are trash because they don't stand for anything. They're not standing up to this president. The president is already being accused of murder. The Department of Defense, running the defense, accused of murder. We knew it was against, we knew, nobody can explain to me, and nobody has told me, nobody has put anything in the chat that says drug dealers deserve to get murdered. But it is what it is. People think because you're a drug dealer, you're supposed to die. That's wild to me. And this is the defense that people are giving to us. Oh my God, they were drug dealers. Taking out drug dealers. Where's the law that says drug dealers are they're supposed to be punishable by death? Juan the Universe, Goofy. Explain to me what law says that. No, it don't. It don't say that. Otherwise, would nobody be saying that they committed murder? Otherwise, the generals wouldn't be saying they committed murder. You know better than the generals. I think I'll take my chances on the generals. Goofy, not you. Please hit the like, share, and subscribe button. We have this content every day. And yet again, we will say it again. Goofy's in the chat. The second strike was murder. Goofy's in the chat. Geneva Convention doesn't say anything about killing drug dealers in the Geneva Convention. It says when you have enemy combatants that are surrendering X, Y, and Z, you don't get to kill them. Goofy's in the chat. You read a book. Just You read a book. Doesn't say that anywhere. I think I'll believe the generals. I think I'll believe the lawyers before I believe the chat room lawyers. But we have this content every day. We will be back tomorrow with some more content. I appreciate it. Hit the like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate it. We will be back tomorrow. Back tomorrow.